Good afternoon, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you fine. No music though.
No music. That's the way it is. Yeah. How's your day going?
I've had a pretty strange day. Uh, Stressful emotionally, um, and really a surprise for all the things that are going on in the world. Only found a couple of things that I found of much interest at all in the news, which is why I didn't share anything with you.
We'll go ahead. What's going on?
Okay, I'm sorry. I think I turned my mic off as opposed to on. Um, One of the things that's really disturbed me this week is the whole episode with Grayscale and Bitcoin pumping and then immediately turning around and heading south again.
Hmm.
Um, all over SEC and Gensler, and I hate to just pick on Gensler because he's a symptom of the problem. He's not the problem. Replace him, we'll still have the problem. Um, but they have postponed this whole idea of ETFs and the applications. And that is just setting the United States even farther behind the rest of the world in crypto adoption. And I find that very, very disturbing. Um, the other bit of news that struck me was another U.S. bank has been breached. Um, and that's M&T Bank, which is one of the largest in the world, and all of their data has been breached uh, by a third party. Um, and the whole idea, and I couple that with what's going on in the whole crypto world. Um, we are vulnerable in ways that most people can't imagine, including me for that matter, to scams and theft, and it just seems to go on and on and on, and it is not, in my opinion, improving any. And I find this frustrating. So I'm sitting here with a whole lot of questions and no answers.
Well, unfortunately, banking is always been kind of ripe for fraud. Anything financial has been ripe for fraud. So, unfortunately, crypto being a new technology, there's a lot of vulnerabilities, and I don't know when, when Bitcoin was first conceived, if they could have imagined just the amount of fraud that was going to transpire because of an opportunity. Maybe they did think about it, maybe they didn't. But there's always somebody trying to invent something to circumvent another thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a tough one. You know what I mean? I don't really, as long as there's people with ulterior motives, I don't think we're ever going to get away from fraud. We're going to get away from theft. I think right now it's going to be mitigation of trying to mitigate that risk, right? Banks have insurance policies so that when banks get robbed, you don't lose as a holder, right? But I mean that it's a little comfort, for those who got, and actually on the space today, I'll be talking a little bit about fraud, because there's some innocent victims all the time that just get taken advantage of, right? Because they're trusting in good people, and it's really unfortunate. It's hard to be, it's
And,
hard, it really is hard to be, when you see all this stuff going on, to remain positive. But that's all we really can do is hope for and try for to be better, right?
and hope for some kind of insurance for crypto so people that are scammed don't lose everything.
Yeah.
Um, Adding to all of this, for those of you who don't know, Warren Buffett. Listen to me. um, I'll get it right yet. Maybe Jimmy Buffett just passed today, and that makes me sad. That's another part of my history, and I think all of our history, where the music will be missed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw that this morning. And you just kind of think these legends will live forever, you know what I mean? And I guess in a way they do, but it's when you see them go, and you maybe have a memory attached to that song or a song that they produced, and takes you back to that place, like a smell. And yeah, it's tough.
Now, they aren't supposed to die, just like you're not supposed to lose your parents
Exactly.
either.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, CWP man, I'm so glad you're here today. Yeah, I'm sorry that, it's kind of dragging you down a little bit, but like I said, all we can do is try to remain positive, right? Um, Glad you're all here. Michael Preble, Muriel, it's good to see you too. Hope you've been doing well. Rick B, Michael Garber, EGC Mike, hope you had a great week. I see Will Herson, Alaska Moose Dog, G00. What else we got here? Jordovic, of course, Taxi Man, Kilo, Delta, Bravo. I love seeing these same faces here. Dan, good to see you too. And Alien. And last in here is Ivan. Good to see you too. Hope you had a productive week. It was a busy week here. Quite a warm week, actually, for San Diego standards, anyway. But yeah, it was a good one. What time is it now? 2:04. You want to get rolling right into space here, CWP? What do you think?
Sounds good. Go for it.
Yeah, I might have a treat for you guys next weekend or the weekend after. I'm trying to work out the details. And if it looks like it's going to transpire, I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. So yeah, welcome to Space 54, everyone.
Is there a Paul that leak whatever that is?
Oh, I'm sure he'd be happy to. You can twist his rubber arm, right? So yeah, so welcome to 54, guys. All right, like I said, Space 54. Talk about EverGrow, LunaSky NFT Marketplace, Lucro, Atlas Wallet, and Lucro Games. It is so great to have you guys all here today. Such a pleasure. Best community in crypto. I'll say that again and again and again. You guys are wonderful people, and I'm so glad that you decided to be here with us every single Saturday. Yeah, we have a lot to cover, so we'll just get right into it. This news article from CoinDesk, which actually has a couple news articles that I think you guys will find very, very interesting. First one from CoinDesk. Large Bitcoin holders accumulate 1.5 billion worth of BTC as price waivers. The accumulation suggests optimism among large investors into the block's head of research noted. Large Bitcoin investors, or whales as they call them, seem to be undeterred by the recent weakness in price and substantially increased their holdings. Data by crypto analytics firm Into the Block says that addresses holding at least 0.1% of the Bitcoin supply, or worth more than 500 million, increased their stash by a total of 1.5 billion in the last 2 weeks of August. The increase occurred while inflows into centralized exchanges were near zero, suggesting that there is organic buying demand rather than funds just moving into exchange addresses. This was from Lucas Otomoro, head of research Into the Block. He wrote in that report. Whales, as we all know, are entities who control large amounts of digital assets. Their purchases and sales can have a sizable impact on the markets. Thus, crypto watchers closely follow their behavior to anticipate market movements. The purchases happened during a period when BTC's price sunk to a 2-month low, temporarily lifted by an important decision in Grayscale's campaign to list spot Bitcoin ETF on what? Where was it? Where are they going to list? I don't remember now. Large holders first loaded up on August 17th when BTC plunged to more than 10% below 26,000, its lowest price since June. They also increased holdings earlier this week following asset managers Grayscale's court victory over the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. A federal appeals court ordered the agency to vacate and review its denial to convert the 14 billion Grayscale Bitcoin Trust into the more desirable spot Bitcoin ETF. Analysts interpret the court's decision as a key advance towards listing the first spot Bitcoin ETF in the US, making the largest cryptocurrency more accessible for a new class of investors. I thought that was very positive news. The one that I think may be consequential, this article was from Forbes, and the title of this one is Crypto Suddenly Braces for a Game-Changing China Earthquake That Could Hit the Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Cardano, Doge, Solana, Tron, and Toncoin. I've never heard that one before. Price. So Bitcoin and crypto could be heading to its biggest ever couple months, with one well-respected investigator predicting September is going to be, in quotation, crazy. The Bitcoin price has swung wildly, dragging Ethereum and other major cryptocurrencies, including XRP and BNB, Cardano, Doge, and all that, with it. The hype is built around the flurry of closely watched US spot Bitcoin ETF funds filings, first by the SEC, that has kicked off into October. Now, a top court in China, which has recently moved to open up Bitcoin and crypto trading to the mass market in Hong Kong, has written a report declaring crypto is the legal property and protected by law, according to local media reports. Hong Kong has a population of about 7.5 million. Keep in mind, people in Asian countries statistically higher favorability of crypto and higher adoption rates. That region specifically has the highest adoption rate in the world. I thought that was pretty interesting. If Hong Kong starts onboarding crypto, that's a large population of crypto, I guess, crypto favorable people. So that could have a pretty good effect on crypto in general. I don't know if you saw that one, CWP or not.
Yes, I did. And also, I was struck by China making crypto legal because, what, 2.5 years ago, they were trying to make it completely illegal to own crypto in the country.
So why do you speculate that they had a change of heart after 2 years? What's your speculation?
And this is purely speculation, but I think it has to do with destroying the American dollar as the world's currency um, because of the BRICS nations. And crypto is a direct threat to the dominance of the dollar. And the BRICS nations, especially now, who own approximately 40% of the world's production in oil and somewhere around, above 30% of the GDP of the world, are set on bringing the dollar into a collapse. Um, and I think that may have been part of the reason, but also maybe the fact that just the obvious thing, how are you going to control whether people buy crypto or not unless you shut down the internet?
Okay. I was thinking from my point of view, it's easier to control crypto in that country than it would be, let's say, here. If you had people required to adopt this technology, and let's just say that China had a centralized exchange, they could control who gets what and where people are spending it and all that stuff. I think it's easier to tax, and it could be a potential economic windfall for China, which is suffering right now with. I think they just had a major bankruptcy of one of their big developers, land developers. It looks like China's growth is slowing, which is something that, just hasn't happened for quite a while to my knowledge. So maybe this might be a tax revenue potential for China. That's just my guess. I don't know for sure.
I agree. Absolutely, that's a part of it. Um, but how do you control decentralized finance, even if you're China?
Well, I think DeFi. I think they, knowing what I know about China, and as if you know somebody who is more in tune, I don't think they're going to allow DeFi. I think they're going to force it towards more centralized rather than DeFi. If they do allow DeFi, it's going to be kind of again a kind of a draconian style of DeFi. That's just my guess, where maybe they have access to your wallet, or maybe they have the China version of a DeFi wallet, which is not really DeFi. You know what I mean? But that's just my guess. I'm speculating. I don't know for sure. They're all about less control rather than more control. It gives us the opportunity for more control over our lives, and so I don't think they really want that.
I don't see how anybody, any government, can control Pancake Swap, for example.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're based out of what country? Do you know? PCS?
No, I have no
Yeah,
idea.
I don't know where they're based out of. I don't think they're based out of the States, but I could be mistaken. Somebody
They
knows,
operate in the cloud, so they're not, there's not a national
right?
organization behind them,
Which gives
as
them an
far as I know.
advantage in terms of
Yes.
legal, right? You can operate in many countries. Are you necessarily subject to those laws? I know Sam had talked about EGC being registered in a particular country that kind of isolates itself from kind of the standard, American rules. I mean, I'm sure there's still in the rules that we have to abide by for, let's say, certain things, but I know there was a lot of thought that went into that. One thing was, hey Frank, I was going to give a couple shout outs. Denny, good to see you, man. And Frank, NFTs, good to see you too. House, Wilco House, good to see you. Who else? Axifan, thanks for dropping in today. We got British Texan and SDX Tiz. Who else? We have Socklemania. That's a new one I haven't heard about before. Miles Williams, good to see you too. Christopher Eichner, what happened to your PFP there, Christopher? Did you create a new account or what? Or is that just a separate one? Good to see you too anyway. Scams. I wanted to, it's kind of a double thing, right? So I saw on my local news station, but I've been hearing this kind of just overall. It's rental scams. So homes or apartments that are listed for rent on social media marketplaces, such as Facebook, often at very attractive prices, which lure people in, especially those on limited budgets. The scammer will list the pictures on the home and even be so bold as to offer potential renters access codes for a lock on the door so that the potential renter can go see the property. If interested, the potential renter is asked for a deposit in the way of Zelle or other marketplaces and usually involves crypto, Bitcoin. Once the money is sent, obviously the money is gone, and that potential renter is, for the most part, out of luck. This scam works particularly well on young renters who may be from out of the country, such as students on visas, for example. In my area, the victim was a deaf person and unfamiliar with this kind of scam, and she lost about $2,000 after placing her deposit. She was actually her landlord was evicting her because she's low income, and unfortunately, that's kind of how it is. And so she lost that money, and now she potentially will be homeless. So just be careful out there, guys. It's really kind of people are, it was weird because she walked through the house, and it was getting renovated. There was painters in there and all that stuff, and so she thought that okay, well, they're getting it ready for somebody to move in, right? But who knows? That person, who was listing it, didn't own the house. We speculate, my way of speculate, it's actually potentially one of the people doing the work on the house so they can keep an eye on things. And then, of course, they're not necessarily connected to the property. So I suppose that's possible. Never really know, right? So again, be careful, guys. LunaSky partnerships. So we kind of covered this over the past few weeks. I just wanted to kind of highlight them real quick. I'm asking for a list, if possible, of all the people that have decided to partner with LunaSky, and that could be just, you know, small collections. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to be a huge partner in order to get recognition. I just want to be able to give you guys recognition and be able to, when the time is right and LunaSky launches, can get you guys some good coverage on Instagram and obviously on X. So we know Bandroid's music-based NFT project professionally made tracks with Grammy Award-winning artists. I thought that was pretty exciting. And we had Chain Arc last week. They are building a cross-chain aggregator, and their NFTs on LunaSky will offer not only free access to the aggregator at no cost per transaction, but give holders the opportunity to earn passive income. So since EGC is all about the passive income, I think it's a very, very smart partnership. We Let's see. I actually asked Moondroid about his crypto mecha series. I was hoping he would be here today to talk a little bit about that. And I know Stock Poker Online is a new utility NFT project that just joined up, and they're going to offer some in-game bonuses of some sort. I'm hoping that I can get to talk to them real soon, get the inside scoop, and hear about hopefully more partnerships. I know Rocket shared with us that this is just the beginning. The team will continue to build partnerships with NFT projects and bring them into LunaSky. Of course, LunaSky respects royalties and supports artists, and that's the way it should be, in my opinion. The last update I heard from Sam about LunaSky was just yesterday, I believe, and he was talking a little bit about rumors. So he had said here, I quote, "No idea where the rumors are coming from, but no one in the team, near the team, beta testers, etc., have ever implied that LunaSky will not launch this quarter. We've worked from over 300 bugs down to the last few. Last optimization is taking place before we can invite creators to begin listing behind a password. Then once enough collections are onboarded and all working smoothly, we'll launch." So I thought that was an important update. I'm not really too sure what, I don't think I saw that rumor. I don't know who said it or what. I'm not really too sure what's going on. There's some other kind of questionable stuff out there about LunaSky and Atlas Wallet. And Sam had responded that both development companies were working for EverGrow are multinational companies with experienced project managers at those companies assigned to each build. These delays have nothing to do with our internal management. They are present in 100% of crypto projects, to my knowledge, from the biggest in the world. And how many years did failed Ethereum upgrade take? Absolutely. I actually benefited from that failed Ethereum upgrade for about a year. To every project around us in DeFi, if you invest in an emerging industry, then you have to accept this side of it. Look at Tesla. The Roadster is now 4 years delayed, Cybertruck 2 years delayed. And they're a huge, huge company. Rocket also gave an update that he said, I'm happy to announce we're able to get Trust Wallet to work via Wallet Connect on LunaSky. You will not need to use MetaMask if you don't want to. It's a good day. And so I thought that was kind of interesting because I knew the Wallet Connect issue was kind of a problem. I didn't think it was the problem, but it's nice to hear that that was solved. Let's see here. Yeah, I've seen various comments across the platforms that kind of reflect. I don't know if it's just because of the timing or what. This was on like Discord and here on Twitter and all that stuff that kind of seem to reflect a lack of understanding of DeFi wallets and the NFT space in general. They seem to feel that LunaSky and Atlas Wallet can't really compete in the space, and that those spaces are maybe saturated, or that NFTs are just gonna fade, or just a fad, they'll go away. Trust Wallet, MetaMask will always maintain their market share and all that stuff. So here's the thing. Paul and Sam have said many times we don't need to be the leader in terms of market share. Even 10% of the existing market share of either of the top performers would be considered a massive success. So let's just say of the not LunaSky, but NFT marketplaces, on the 10th spot, they made $85 million of revenue in the first 5 months of launch. 85 million in the first 5 months of their launch, and they're number 10 on that list of NFT marketplaces. So even if you make 10% of that, that's $8.5 million. That's not a bad haul. So I think, you got to kind of put this all in perspective, right? And I disagree with these kind of naysayers, and this is why. There are many NFT marketplaces, it's true, but the business model and the marketing plan for LunaSky is what sets it apart from others. There's some data that I pulled from Statista, a data firm with over 23,000 clients worldwide, and it shows revenue in the NFT space is supposed to reach about $1.6 billion in 2023. Revenue is expected to show an annual growth rate of about 18.55%, with revenue by 2027 to reach $3.1 billion. You see that kind of money we're talking about here? The average revenue per NFT on the market right now is about $114.80 in 2023. And here's the one that I think blew my mind the most. User penetration, which is a measure of the amount of population that are actually using NFTs and in the space, is about 0.02%. Any uptick in user penetration, for example, like a potential use case, aka utility, could have a dramatic effect to the upside. We've talked many times about the potential of NFTs, of course, and we talk about like NFTs, I think are pretty exciting. So a couple of surge in NFTs for various reasons, such as art, music, utilities on a platform that's committed to supporting artists through marketing and royalties, is, in my opinion, easy to see how LunaSky can grow and help NFT creators in the same way, in the same time, as well as be profitable. So I don't know, maybe they just don't understand the NFT space. Maybe they just don't understand DeFi wallets. It's not of course we want to be at the top, right? And I think we'll get there. I don't know what timing that looks like, but I'll be happy if we're just profitable and then we're on our way to building, right? And if you guys have been paying attention to the marketing plan, I think it is a really, really good marketing plan. It's not reliant on the whims of somebody visiting a website. You don't, you know what I mean? Like some of the typical marketing that we see through influencers. I just think that's, like I said in the last couple of spaces, I just think it's kind of dead. Yeah, there's a place for it, but I just don't think you should hang your hat on that whole thing. So, if you have any questions about that, by all means, come on up, we'll talk about it. Rasan,
Oh, okay, go ahead, Ruslan.
how you doing, Rasan?
Hey, better. Can you hear me?
Hear you just fine.
Okay. My voice is a little weird. I have COVID. But anyway,
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear
yeah,
that,
it's
man.
fine. Yeah, according to what you guys saying, I saw Sam replying to somebody about the. Well, I don't remember. I just remember what I said. The about creator, and he said that Sam said that that's like one day he would like to do that, and then I replied, um, well, it doesn't have to, like, we don't have to like launch or create creator. We can start little by little. How about turning Atlas Wallet in one of the best wallets? You know, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be like this huge product right away, but in time, evolution will win the race, always evolving, trying to find. I just read that somewhere. The first rule of business: find a need and fulfill it. So if Atlas Wallet can find some needs in this industry and fulfill it, and not just that, but uh, make make it easier. Instead of finding something new, what we have already, make it easier. That will, because people want what's easy and something, the solution to a problem, in those two things. And also for LunaSky, because I cannot wait for LunaSky. I would like to use that, learn how to mint, the things. Also in LunaSky, like I think it was Moon Android, he said that in the last conversation we were discussing that about adding features, and I was imagining LunaSky like a social media, not necessarily, but like a social media. Like I was mentioning the last day, like you can create your profile. I know it might not be right now, but again, evolving, making it cooler, making it fast, easy to navigate for everybody. Like Kevin O'Leary says, if grandma can use it, anybody can use it. And I keep imagining a lunar sky like that. Like you can click photos and well, photos or gallery, and you see all that, and having a like Twitter, that's like a feed, for lunar sky. That way creators can just the same way we come here and we post something, you see everybody's feeds, the people you follow. Same thing for Luna Sky. Like, oh, I have so many creators following my profile, and I can follow others profiles creators as well. That way, there's a conversation, just like in Twitter, in the feed section, we respond to one another. That way, using LunaSky, people don't have to go back in Twitter or X to talk about. Instead, we have a conversation right there in that social platform, which is LunaSky. Like, hey guys, I just posted this NFT, and we start commenting, liking, trying to bring those little features to LunaSky to make it look like a normal social platform. So yeah, that's what I think about, making those products the best. Now with the mentality, okay, I want to be the best, but little by little, it will become just by fulfilling needs and by making things easier for everybody to use. The last thing I'm gonna say right now, I remember. I don't think Netflix set out to be like, I'm gonna be the biggest, movie provider for people. Blockbuster didn't think that way either. I don't think that they didn't evolve. They didn't think they had to do it. And look what happened. Netflix, little by little, starting making things easier for customers, and look where they are now. At some point, their stock was like $600. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate the conversation that we had. Was it last week? I think that's where we kind of really started kind of getting into the possibilities
Yes.
of what, you know what I mean? I don't know what that looks like in terms of an upgrade. But here's the thing, like with that, I was thinking while you were talking about that, I was thinking of, we come to Twitter and all that stuff to exchange ideas and all that stuff. But what if, because if you're bringing people to Luna Sky, they're there for a reason, right? They're there to either buy or sell or exchange ideas about NFTs on that marketplace. So it's the perfect place to talk about NFTs. So why don't you have the ability to integrate that? How hard is that? I really don't know. But I think it's a fantastic idea. I think the ability to DM within the platform, create a, let's say, you can reach out to your favorite creator, artist, whatever it may be. Obviously there's going to be limits on it because you can't have spam and all that stuff. But I think it's a great idea because I've always, when I was posting the NFTs on Instagram, I've wanted to reach out to individual artists because I want to know, how to maybe advertise them on Twitter at the time or something, right? And I couldn't do that. So I think they'd be able to DM with permissions or something like that, like this person wants to reach out to you, and then you accept or deny or something to that effect. There's so much room for growth within Luna Sky, and I think you absolutely nailed it. If you can kind of build on that success and tailor it and just become the best NFT marketplace in terms of features and support for the artists, I think you really have a winner. And that's what Luna Sky was kind of designed to be, right? The best marketplace by supporting its artists. So thank you for saying that. And I really appreciate when you brought that up because you got the conversation kind of going, right? This idea of what could we integrate. So thank you for that. And I do hope you feel better. Hope you're getting on the tail end of it.
I got to comment real quickly on what he just said. We already have the family. Um, why not port it over to Luna Sky? It seems like a perfect storm, if you will.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Hassan. I really, really appreciate it. Christopher, how you doing today?
Hello. Hello. I was last week not here. I was in Germany. Yes, a little bit seeing my mother. What I wanted to bring to attention is the topic BUSD and what will EverGrow use after this, because because I did not understand why Binance gives up BUSD. Honestly, yes, there was the SEC case, but as I understood it, it was always against BNB and not against BUSD. I don't see the context now. Also the context is for me hard to understand. What in this case will EverGrow have instead of BUSD? This is what I wanted to ask. This is something what interests me a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we kind of, Paul talked a little bit, Sam talked a little about this in the past. It's been a few months. But when Paxos said they were no longer minting BUSD, and that was because of the SEC. So basically, BUSD will always be worth, it's always back to the dollars. You never have to worry whether it's going to be worth a dollar or will be valueless, right? You don't have to worry about that. So the transition to an alternative stablecoin is something that the team has been working on, and they've just kind of behind the scenes. I don't know anything about what coin that's going to be. That you'll have to wait for an official announcement. But I wouldn't fret because it's kind of already been in the works.
A question.
And
What would happen if nothing will be done and all stays on BUSD? Because that they do not mint does not mean the coin is away. It should always be one to one. So I don't see it.
well, I mean, like I said, it'll always be backed 1-to-1. So what would happen if we don't switch? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, what would happen if you do nothing? Because as I understand, they do not mint anymore. But what is the problem? The BUSD
Well,
will be ever there. We will see always.
so let me ask you this question. When you get BUSD rewards for your EverGrow, where does that come from?
I would
So it
say
comes,
it comes from the volume, what is then calculated
well,
automatically.
that's the mechanism, but the contract pulls BUSD from somewhere, right? And that's what the team, has the contract to pull BUSD and distribute it. So the money's got to come from somewhere, right? At some point, EverGrow Love, you want to jump in, by all means?
Oh no, I just go ahead. I'm just going to comment on something else that's been said previously. So go ahead
Sure.
and finish
Okay.
your topic. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So the BUSD comes from the contract, and there's an allocated pool where the BUSD comes from, to my knowledge. But once that runs out, right, then basically you have no more BUSD to give unless we acquire more. Let's say maybe we convert BNB to BUSD. It might be a question. Maybe Marios. I don't know if you're a little bit more in touch with that. I don't know if it's something you're capable of speaking to. I'll give you the mic here, and if you do, jump in, please. So, I mean, as long as we've got money to distribute, BUSD to distribute, then you don't really have anything to worry about. So, but I think the team being proactive as they are, they're going to have an alternative. So whether that be, I don't know, USCT or something like that, I'm really not too sure. So there will be a contract change, and I don't know what that would look like. It will be a migration. I really don't know how that would work exactly. Somebody who's maybe more familiar with contracts maybe might be able to speak to that. But yeah, I wouldn't be concerned about it. It's just one of those things that we just need to kind of. I don't think anybody anticipated that BUSD wouldn't be kind of minted any longer. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. There's plenty of alternatives.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I think it's
Anytime.
important to note that BUSD, although it's Binance, actually has nothing to do with Binance, the company, or the suit, and the danger that Binance might be in. And it will always be of value. It's not going to lose its value even if the reward system is changed to something else.
Yeah, Paxos is the one that makes BUSD, right? And Paxos is the one that is having the issue with the BUSD. So yeah, so don't worry about that. Evergo Love, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad I could be here. A little bit late, but I just want to make a comment. I know we're talking about LunaSky and Atlas Wallet and everything, and I know, including myself and CWP and you and everybody else, we've all got our ideas on how to improve it, make it better, make it a great thing. Um, I just want to make a comment. We should probably wait until it launches and see what is actually available already, because we already know that Sam and the team have hidden features or things that they haven't disclosed yet that's going to make it excel and stand out. And for all we know, texting back and forth might be one of them. We don't know. Um, there's a lot we still don't know about what they've done, and we're all going to witness it for the first time. So to me, it's just, hey, let's wait for it. Let's let it launch, and then make every suggestion you want to make on how to make it better based on what's not available. Because I think if you think about it, everything that they've done so far and things that we haven't even thought of yet, they've already implemented. Makes you wonder what they have thought of that we've also brought up in the past on suggestions and ideas for improvement from the beta version.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As speculating, we don't know what they have planned, and you gotta know that this has been their world for the last since beta launch, right? How do we make a better NFT marketplace, right? So this is kind of like breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for the last who knows how long, right? Of course, Atlas Wallet is part of that too, but so they're knee deep in it, and they're having their meetings, and they're discussing what can we do to make this better. You're absolutely right. We don't know what's under the hood until we get to see it, and there are a lot of people that made suggestions, and so we don't really know what's been integrated. So what I'd like to kind of go ahead, jump in.
Oh, I was just going to use an example. Like, I mean, we've been talking for a while about music NFTs, and look, all of a sudden they unveiled the partnership with Bandroids, and then we've been talking about cross chain swaps on the wallet, and possibly in LunaSky as well. And look, now we're already partnered with ChainArc. I mean, there's how many partners haven't they disclosed yet? How much information haven't they disclosed? So I'm just like, I've gotten to the point where, okay, it is what it is. Let's just be patient, because I really just want to see it, play with it, and say, it'd be really cool if it could do this. Let's make the suggestion. Or, oh my God, they already did this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one thing that I hope they announce it, is when they're going to start onboarding people to kind of do that. I think that small group of testing first to get their NFTs up, and I don't know who's going to be part of that. And then they're going to test that small group first, and then I believe they're going to open it up to a slightly larger group. And then if everything works smoothly, that's when it'll go live. And so I hope they do announce that.
Yeah, they're supposed to do. I think it was five people or 5 to 10 people on the first group to start the migration, test everything with a small group, and then they're going to open it up to 30 plus, and then do another round of testing, and then after that, it'll be opened up to everybody.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. CWP, did you want to jump in?
Yes, I wanted to say 100% to everything you just said, EverGrow. Of we have no clue yet, I don't think, of what's really in the works. The other side of this, where there is room for speculation, I think, is in the competition. Um, there's been a lot of discussion about we don't need to be the best that there is, and I understand that. But on the NFT marketplace, there may be a lot of them, but they're all small, and the two largest ones are in deep trouble. On the wallet side, Trust Wallet is having lots of issues. MetaMask is full of holes. Um, I think we have the opportunity to have a couple of products that are so much superior that we will really put a huge dent in the competition.
Have you noticed in the past probably month or so, there's been a lot of copycats? There's a copycat Atlas Wallet website out there, and there was copycat EGC 2.0 and all that stuff. And there was another one there too. I don't remember what it was now. But luckily, Sam and the team were able to shut those down, and off of that, what's it called, Pink Sale or something? I can't remember now. But as far as the Atlas one, hopefully they get that one shut down too for intellectual property. So obviously, you don't just start up these businesses to copycat because, it's a loser product. You do it because there's a potential there, a big potential, and they're hoping to steal market share. And so, you know, not saying it's going to be the, absolute best thing. I hope it is, but until I get my, hands on the final version, so far as Atlas Wallet goes, I don't want to use anything else, and that's just not me being a fanboy. That's just me because I love using it. I just think it's, once we nail down all these little issues, then I think we're going to have just a real winner product because I don't really care for Trust Wallet. I tolerate it. I don't really care for MetaMask. I just kind of tolerate it because I didn't have an alternative. Now that I have an alternative, I'm not going to use anything else but that. So, I
The
would
old
be,
phrase that copycats is the greatest form of compliments. That's a rough paraphrase. People are paying attention. People we don't have a clue about are paying attention to what's going on, and they see us perhaps maybe even more successful than we see ourselves.
it's a distinct possibility. Yeah, absolutely. So with one thing I was going to talk about was the beta testing, right? So last week it got unveiled that the recent build version for Alice Wallet is, I think, version 18 now, I believe. So, as soon as that went live, I saw like, because there's a dedicated Discord channel for that. So everybody just gets to work, right? We got a Google Doc that we can download and we can start adding to it as we test. If we find any issues, we just kind of have this doc that just grows and grows, right? And then we just add to it. I had a couple issues that weren't really issues. I put them down there. A couple people tested them, and they weren't issues. It was something I was doing. So it's just things like that, that collaboration between the beta testers that is just absolutely fantastic. And these guys are really working hard. I don't think you guys can appreciate just how hard they work on this. I mean, it's all the time. I mean, I don't know, like I have a pretty busy job and I work a lot of hours and in addition to other things, and these guys are just going on there and they're working hard at it. And I just really, really, I'm grateful. You guys should be grateful for the amount of work they're putting into it. Go ahead, Evergrow.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on what CWP said. If you think about it, he was talking about copycats and stuff. I like to think about that a little farther. We've had a lot of people try to attack the project. And to me, that is a form of, they're threatened. Because if they see something coming out that has the potential of being so much better than theirs, they don't want it to get out. They want to cause as much FUD as they can, and so forth. And with all the attacks and stuff, that's just a sign to me that, hey, we're on the right track. There's people out there that are scared.
Yeah, I didn't consider that, but you're right. I mean, it's possible we are considered the, a potential threat. I think as the price, it's kind of weird, right? When the price goes down, you get a lot of FUD. But there's also that opposite. When the price goes up, you start to get FUD because people want to drive the price back down to buy in, right? And so I don't know. It's kind of one of those things, you can't really predict when it's going to happen, but when it happens, you kind of like, okay, here we go again, right? Seems to happen all at once. So it's been kind of weird. It goes for a bit and then it picks up again. So
Steve, that's a perfect segue into something that I wanted to share for the bargain hunters out there in the world. Our Lucro is right now down 35% off its all-time high. What a perfect buying opportunity.
yeah, absolutely. A buddy of mine's been buying little bit each paycheck, and he's got himself a nice little bag already. And and when we went up, he saw some pretty big profits. He held on. He's not going to sell, and he's in it for the long haul, like kind of I think most of us are. So yeah, it's an opportunity. Just whether you want to take it or not, it's up to you. So I kind of am impressed that it's held up as well as it has. Just because of the market, you know what I mean? When things go down, I remember when I think it was BTC went down like 10% or something like that. We went down like 1% or 2%. I was like, man, it's holding strong. I mean, I'm really impressed by it. But that just goes to show you the kind of the belief in the project, I think. So yeah, I'm just, if it goes down a little bit, I'm not really too worried about it. I thought we were on the verge of dropping that zero. I was super excited, but it was just right there, right at the edge, and then it just didn't happen yet. We'll see what happens when LunaSky launches. So, what do you, EverGrow Lab, have you thought much about the EGC staking or Son? What do you think about EGC staking?
I'm ready for that. I've seen some. Well, I had a question about staking, and it's a good thing that you just asked me that. Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Because the results from Lucro and how easy it is for me now, I cannot wait because things got my bag is gonna give me more than I got from Lucro. It's a bigger bag. Anyway, so this is the question. My brother, he staked his coins in a platform, but what happened? Uh, the platform, the staking part, he says it's like gone, and he lost his coins. And I want to know if someone can help me understand that, because maybe the coins are somewhere on the blockchain, and I don't know, he doesn't know how to look for it, or does it
Can,
happen?
can you maybe elaborate like what it was and what platform?
It is a rich quad token. Uh, yeah, they have a part where you can stake those coins, and he was fine until like 3 days when he asked me, because I wanted to do it too. Because in the platform that I have, Lucro, you don't find it. So he told me, well, they have their own staking mechanism. You just do it through there. And I couldn't do it. Uh, it I didn't know how to do it. That's why I was hesitant to do it with Lucro. But anyway, he did it long before I asked him about mine. And 3 days ago, he called me and said, hey, did you stake your rich quad coin? I said, no, not yet. He said, I lost mine. I don't know where it is. So if someone can give me information about that, that would be great.
What's it called again? You said like Rich, RICH?
Yes, let me see, I have it here. It's like a little dog. Rich quack, sorry.
How do you spell after this, the RICH? How do you spell?
Yeah, Quack.
Oh, Rich Quack.
Rich Quack.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
All right. Oh, I see it here. The incubator, launchpad, and all that stuff, right?
yeah, the staking part,
Yeah.
but it's there. He says, yeah, but my coins disappeared.
Hmm. Are the rest of his crypto intact?
Yeah,
Like his wallet?
yeah.
So yeah, it looks like you're staking on their platform, right?
Yes.
And do they have a Discord at all?
I would. Yeah, I suppose.
So what I would do is probably refer them to the Discord. Just be very, very
Yeah,
careful.
exactly.
It's
Okay.
don't give up your seed phrase, all that stuff, the usual stuff, right? Don't click on links and all that stuff. But maybe other people have had the same issue, and I would that's what I would do. I would check that out first.
Okay.
If anybody here in the space has any advice, put it in the comments if you don't want to come up and talk. And I've never heard of Rich Quack before, but yeah, hopefully it's because once you stake, it's on the contract, right? Whether you can see it is another thing. I did that with Squid, and I staked, and then I don't know what happened to it. They migrated or something like that, and now I can't find it anymore. So it wasn't a small amount. It was a small amount of money, so I'm not really worried about it. But yeah, so I'm just meaning to do something about it, but just
So
haven't.
wait a minute.
But
You lost your squid too? Oh
yes, I
wow.
did. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't a
See,
lot, but it was
that's why
enough.
I'm afraid to stake. Like unless it comes from a. That's why I like EverGrow, man, because the team they're really they pay attention to the customer. You know, the Sam, like when people find that, I think they're gonna fly to EverGrow.
Yeah, the big thing, well, with Brew Labs, it was a pretty, um, you know, it was a good partnership. You know what I mean? That is their business. That's Brew Labs is their business is staking, and they have different other things, right? So it's an easy to use platform. I didn't really worry too much about it. As Sam said, honestly, I hate to say it, but Sam said they're good. They're good. I don't worry about it. But the fact that they're bringing it to the EverGrow site, I think is great. And then you just go to one spot, right? You don't have to go and to another third party provider in order to it just takes the risk out of it in my opinion. But not that I'm saying Brulette is bad or anything. So far my staking has gone very, very well, no issues. So yeah, so I'm with you too. But like I said, for your brother, I would start with Discord, or Telegram, or whatever, and find out where they have a space and just be cautious. And I would do some kind of sleuthing first just to see if anybody else has had that issue, and just be wary, just be mindful, and anything I can do to help, just let me know. I'll see if I can do some digging for you, and if I find something, I'll let you know. So yeah, hopefully they're just kind of one of those things. I really don't know much about that platform, so yeah. What else was I going to? Oh yeah, I was talking about Atlas Wallet there for a bit, and so right now they're working on obviously testing swaps, just to see what you're getting versus PCS, and to make sure that the values are on par with PancakeSwap. You don't want to be doing a swap and not get as much tokens as you're anticipating, right? So a lot of work is going into that, and working pretty hard. The EGC staking, I know that's in development right now, and I think we're leading up to at least two audits. I think Sam said three audits, and so which is fantastic, and that'll be on the EverGrow EGC.com website. So that's fantastic that we have it locally. I really appreciate that they're doing at least the two audits, and just to make sure everything is legit, no issues. We don't want anybody losing their EGC. And staking is always a little nerve-wracking. I don't know. Even when I do it through Brew Labs, there's always that little part of me that gets a little nervous because it's I'm very protective of my tokens. So yeah. The nice thing about staking your EGC, you're going to still get your passive rewards in BUSD or whatever they, if they decide to change from BUSD. And I think there's going to be other little bonuses as well. I don't know what that looks like yet. Paul had said they want to make it very attractive for staking rewards. So I don't know if that looks like an APY. I really don't know. I'm hoping it's going to be a good APY. We've got, I think, roughly 11 or 12 trillion for staking rewards. That's already been kind of in the works. Go ahead, Herson.
I don't remember if one of the Sam or anybody from the team said something like this, but do you think it's the staking is just for EGC or any other more tokens?
As far as I know, it's just EGC, and I'm hoping when the Lucro contract is done, that they'll bring Lucro over to the EGC site and we can stake there too. I have nothing against Relapse. I just like to keep it in house. I'd rather us kind of keep that to ourselves. You know what I mean? So, but I haven't heard anything else about that. Have you? You can tell me.
No, I don't. That's the thing. I don't remember, but I might be. I forgot maybe.
Yeah, no, that's good. I hope. Yeah, I hope it's that's the one. Other than Atlas Wallet, I mean, obviously LunaSky is exciting, but I love staking. I love getting passive rewards. And I've already compounded since the start. I think 3 or 4 times, and yeah, it's great. I love getting free tokens. So why not? Passive income, right? That's what it's all about. I'll open it up. You guys, just for kind of open discussion, is there anything you guys want to talk about?
I want to say that I'm looking forward to the staking. Um, I had a little bit of Brise a long time ago and staked it the first time I'd ever, and the last time I'd ever done it, and it disappeared, and I managed to hunt it down, and it's still in my wallet. So, um, but I didn't understand the process, and I've kind of waited for Atlas Wallet, and if I don't understand it, um, and it's not that clear to me, the the process, I think it will be very transparent. But if it's not, I'm going to get you to teach me how.
Sounds like a plan to me. My first experience with staking was actually Shiba Inu when they first launched their Bone and all that stuff, and they had their kind of like reward system, yeah, through their through what was it called now, Shibarium or something like that, or maybe Shibarium is the kind of that other thing that I can't remember what it's called now. This is a few years ago, and it wasn't a particularly positive experience for me. Yeah, I made a little bit off of it, but it wasn't like I lost more SHIB than I actually staked, which because of gas fees. And I thought it was a little bit disingenuous because they were making a lot of promises that I felt like they couldn't keep. I got a little bit of bone out of it, out of staking, but there was a couple of influencers on YouTube that I watched, and they were making it sound like it was like you're making money hands over fists, and I just didn't see it. So that kind of turned me off a little bit of staking. But once I kind of got comfortable with EverGrow and then of course Lucro, I kind of warmed up to the idea. I think it was just a bad circumstance personally at that time.
The
So
only thing I know, there are a lot of people on this platform who have mined Pi on their phones, and that's the on which is not, I don't believe, actually on available on any platform yet for trade. But I decided to stake all of mine, and I staked it for 3 years, and I've really enjoyed watching a token grow in amount and my bag size without actually having a utility for it yet that I can use. Um, and I'm very comfortable on that platform. Why there and not with Brew Labs, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do B and Pi at the same time, and I know somebody had talked about where they were doing something similar, and they went to mainnet and they were able to make some money off of it. I never really heard anything more about it, so I'm kind of curious. I thought it was one of the two, B or Pi, but I could be mistaken. Rashawn, jump in.
Yeah, I wanted to ask EverGrow Love, what's the resolution for those NFT he drops? I mean, they are like ultra HD, you know? So can you talk about that, please, about that type of resolution? Because my camera, it has a lot of megapixels, so the pictures, they come out with high resolution. You can see everything. But the NFT, and I ask you because you are like the most, the person that I see dropping most NFT.
EverGrow Love, I don't know if you can answer that question or not. Might be busy.
I can if he can't.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, what you see on Rarible or OpenSea or on the old LunaSky on your screen is a JPEG. It's not the NFT. And JPEGs have a very, very small, a low resolution. Um, but your NFT will have the resolution of whatever in a photograph of whatever the megapixels on your camera originally took it at. Did that make sense to you? And that's because the phone screen, the resolution on a phone, or even on a laptop or a desktop, does not match the pixels that are available on a camera.
Go ahead, EverGrow Love. Thanks for that, CWP. Appreciate it.
Hey, I just wanted to interject with that too. So a lot of us that create the NFTs, we actually set the resolution. It can either be 300 dots per inch, 600 or more. It just depends on what we're creating it as. And we also set the size. So you might have an NFT that's only 8x6, or like some of mine, you have an NFT that's like 16x12. It just depends on the creator. So if it's a photograph, that's one thing, but if it's an image, it depends on depends on the settings that the creator created it in before it gets uploaded.
What kind of flexibility do most platforms have in terms of size and resolution?
Well, the only limitation is the limitation of the size of the file that you're being uploaded. So the higher the resolution, the greater the size, the larger the file. But I haven't seen any limitations as far as NFTs go, as far as the size that you're doing it. Now, when it comes to music NFTs, because they actually have a larger file size depending on the length of the music and the quality of the music, that's why you're seeing them start out at 30 seconds to a minute on most of the music NFTs, and that's because of the file size. So I think that as we improve and we get the ability to retain those larger file sizes and everything, you're going to see the music side of it blow up even bigger.
Does that help a little bit, Person?
Yes.
And on cameras, you can change that after you've taken the picture. You can enhance it, but it's much more easily done to reduce the size of it. Um, I'm sure you all remember Beeple's $64 million 500 days of photos, or however many it was, and that was in dozens of megapixels. That file was absolutely huge.
Sorry, Person, would that help you a little bit?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
No problem at all. So I want to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek in what I am working on. I talked a little bit about it on Discord, but I am working out a deal to see if I can bring on the DeFi Education Fund. They are basically a lobbying agency, and they lobby on behalf of DeFi to politics and politicians, and I'm trying to get somebody from them to interview and talk about DeFi in general, legislation, and kind of what they're doing for the industry. And so if I'm trying to work that out in the next couple weeks, so yeah, stay tuned to that. So that's kind of what I'm working on. If I can nail this down, it should be hopefully a pretty big space where we'll have a lot of people on here. So if you have questions and it looks like it's going that direction, I'll certainly give you guys a bit advance notice if you want to post questions, and then I'll do what I can to get them answered. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on. How about you, CWP? What you working on?
Um, right now, on figuring out how we're going to make the vote for sure on the promos that Denny and I have had this little contest going, and I want to remind everybody that the deadline of that is coming up this coming weekend, and I hope everybody is getting theirs ready to post. Um, I know that there are going to be quite a few entries, but I have no idea how many. Um, I originally wanted the guarantee that we could have uh, the day after the posts know who the winners are. But if there's hundreds of entries, uh, that will probably be slowed because I'm just not capable of dealing with that much. Um, but I just want, I want to, I'm excited to see what the creators are creating. Um, what little teases I've got from people, verbal ones. I think it's going to be um, a pretty amazing uh, sample of the talents that we have on this platform, which are awesome. We've got some excellent, excellent artists here.
Totally. I think I would love to see. Can you do like maybe a repost of that so that everybody can see it again?
Uh,
Sorry, you cut out there for a second. CWP, go ahead.
Crap.
Did I lose you? So yeah, I'm just going in Discord right now, and Drakefist says, "Yeah, we're working hard." Let's see what else comments are in here. See if there's anything else that's interesting. I don't know. I'm just seeing a couple screenshots of somebody's here as a Axie fan. With respect to this suggestion, I hope down the line we can introduce shop and launchpad buttons. That would be kind of pretty cool. Launchpad button, if we had our own built-in, takes us right to the launchpad, and we can see maybe new DeFi projects getting launched. That'd be pretty cool. Get in early. Interesting stuff. Yeah. CWP still there, or did you lose your headset?
I'm still here. I'm trying to get that reposted.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Just in case somebody hasn't seen it before. So, I'll let you work on that. So, Hersan, are you most interested in LunaSky, or are you more interested in the wallet? If you had to pick a top one, two, three, what would you say your favorites are for launch?
You say one, two, three. What's number three?
I would just pick out of Atlas, LunaSky, and EGC staking. What would you be your kind of ones you're looking most forward to?
For me, Atlas Wallet, because that way I can put all, use that one and enjoy it, and also it will work like an exchange, right? So that will bring more people than the other. Uh, not that I don't want the other, but if you say like in terms of priority, I would choose Atlas Wallet.
When you say exchange, what do you mean exactly?
Uh, yeah, because last week, someone clarified me that Atlas Wallet will work like an exchange. I wouldn't have to use an exchange. I will be able to do everything, or not everything, but most of the things I do in an exchange. Be able to deposit money and put it back in my account, and at the same time buy and sell any coin. Right? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, I think when I hear the word exchange, my mind automatically goes to a centralized exchange. But essentially, be able to do all of the same things, right? Onboard, off ramp, and swap right within the wallet. So I'm with you. I wish I can remember what it was like when I first downloaded Trust Wallet, because I know I was confused about things and I just kind of had to figure it out. It would be wonderful if people could provide feedback on what they liked or they didn't like about Trust Wallet when they first got it. Um, and then you can kind of build on that, right? But we just kind of like we're so in the moment of just trying to figure out how things work. We're trying to get into a particular project, and I remember I was trying to get EGC, and I just could not get that swap to work on Pancake. I was just pulling my hair out. I was like, what am I doing wrong? And it was just slippage, And then on ramping too, I couldn't. I was trying like crazy to buy with Simplex, and I don't know. I was having nothing but problems. Nothing was working, and I was getting really super frustrating. And I think of that, that barrier to entry. How many other thousands of people had that exact same problem where they were not able to buy BNB, Smart Chain, they weren't able to swap, and they just said, you know what, I don't have time for this. I don't want to, mess with this anymore, and they give up. And that is a potentially lost, essentially a customer, a lost investor. So how many thousands of people, tens of thousands of people gave up on Lucro or EverGrow? My apologies, my dog decided to make the bed right next to me, and she's digging away. So with Atlas Wallet, if we can kind of eliminate that, right, eliminate that kind of that barrier, that pain point, then I think we could see just a huge amount of volume just in that. And then also that if we're onboarding projects that are working with us to basically like onboard them their projects, and we don't have these barriers as well, these pain points, then I think it will make their project more successful, which in turn makes our project more successful. Go ahead, Ursan.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, because right now you have to do like 10 steps with Trust Wallet. You have to buy the BNB, then swap it, then go to another. I mean, if I would explain that to, let's say, my wife or someone who doesn't understand crypto, just downloading the Atlas wallet would be the first step, but then the swapping, then they get lost. But if you're able to do everything in one place, it's a lot easier. And you can bring people through this product, Atlas wallet, that have nothing to do with other part of the crypto industry, like NFT. Right now, I don't understand 100% NFT, but I understand wallet. So there's more people like me, because I think the NFT um, community is smaller than the crypto in general. I think it's 5% of the global population. Probably NFT would be like 1%. So what Atlas Wallet, I think, in my opinion, can bring more people to the industry than NFTs or any other product. And not only that, the people right now in crypto, if they find out that this product it's easier, it's better, they will come to this to use Atlas Wallet. And probably they don't know about an NFT, but they know wallet and the functionality and the practicality uh, will attract them. Just like I'm waiting because like I'm waiting for it. I've seen certain videos, sneak peek that the guys drop, and it's to me it's amazing. For example, some drop like a mini video of Trust Wallet where you can see a chart similar to a Dex tool with all the candles and and things like that. And I said, wow, that's a great feature for me, you know. And at some point, I don't know if it's for the future or it's gonna be on launch, that I will be able to send money to my family through that wallet. Anyway, yeah, I would choose Atlas Wallet. But I also want the in second place would be staking, because that will be passive income even if I'm sleeping.
Yeah, and then the opportunity for not only the passive income from the volume of EGC and Lucro, but also the passive income from staking itself. So, that's potentially three different sources of income, right?
Yeah.
And we're used to traditional volume for driving our rewards. And back in 2021, that was, we were seeing, I don't know if you remember the screenshots of people posting how much passive income they made in the 24-hour period. I mean, it was kind of obviously these were people with, trillions maybe potentially of tokens staked. But even if you were to make 50, $100, $200 a day off of volume, um, the question becomes how do you got to give people a reason why to buy, right? That's the number. And then you got to number two, you got to give people a reason to hold. So buying is easy, right? People can buy all the time, but you got to give them the reason to buy. And I'm talking about like large numbers of people. So you've got to think, what makes a project attractive? Is a project profitable? Is a project burning their own tokens? Is there reduced supply? Are they transparent? All of these things come into play. What kind of advertising are they doing? Marketing, etc. All of these things, what kind of partnerships do they have? And if you think about it, all of these things come together to build that hype around a project. And I don't mean hype as in like the, the unsubstantiated hype. I'm talking about like real hype. Like this is a good project. I want to be involved in this project. Um, so I think once you have that, then you have to provide the reason to hold, right? Why wouldn't they just sell when it goes up 20% or 30%? The staking provides that opportunity because, why would I just flip it for 20 when I can probably potentially make 20% just on staking? You know what I mean? Like it just makes sense. So you're better to stake, earn the passive rewards, and what other rewards are there? I think I have an idea what those rewards might be, but until they advertise it and kind of, tell us about that, I would be speculating. So if you could do those two things, right, and do them well, then you can have a really, really successful project. So you were talking about global kind of NFTs versus the money in the NFTs versus money into crypto. And I think the last I looked, the global crypto market is about 1 trillion roughly. And if NFTs are roughly the 1.5 billion, 1.6 billion for 2023, that's 1/100th ish roughly. So NFTs are so new, so new in comparison to crypto. So yeah, I'm super excited about both. But when you really think about it, we're really early in crypto anyway. I mean, I know crypto's been around for a bit, but the good projects that are DeFi projects, there's not many of them out there. And if you find a good one, hold on. You know what I mean? And especially if you can participate.
I may have missed some of what you had said when I was off for a moment, but I didn't hear you mention generational wealth. Um, just think about what you're building for your kid, um, which is humongous. NFTs, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of those. Um, uh, um, uh, Axie's comment, especially real estate, when NFTs start getting integrated into real estate purchases and sales, you're talking about a trillion with a capital T dollar business.
Could you say that again, that dollar amount? Oh, you went back to a listener again. Did you hear her, son? What that dollar amount was?
I think he said like 1 trillion.
Yeah, that's huge. CWP, you still with us?
Somehow I went bye bye again. Trillion dollar. The real estate industry, NFTs will be a $1 trillion, possibly even a multi-trillion-dollar industry um, in a few years. I don't want to predict how many. It will take a while for adoption, but adoption, once it gets started, it will end up going parabolic, I'm sure, because the advantages of putting real estate into NFTs on the blockchain just outweigh by a million miles any other form of keeping track of real estate sales and ownership.
All you really need is one title company to go that direction with it. You just need one that
Yes,
they want
one
to
that would work.
be
Yeah,
on the
but
cutting edge.
sure, it certainly would be. But title companies have a very vested interest in keeping it just the way it is,
Go ahead, explain.
because they're making money. You got title searches. Title searches are very expensive, and without a title search, you can't buy or sell property in the United States. And I'm sure that in the rest of the world, there are things similar to the industry here in the United States. Um,
Instead of doing a title search on a traditional database, why can't they just verify it on the blockchain and charge you for that?
because the blockchain is transparent and you don't need them anymore.
Think about how many people are talented enough or have the wherewithal to really go that far with it. I mean, you ask me to go find something on the blockchain in terms of proof of ownership. I honestly wouldn't know how to do that. That's not my world.
And I understand your point of view, but if you bought a home, the hoops you have to jump through in that process are horrific, and you need a lawyer, not just a real estate agent, but a lawyer. And in that process, there are going to be people who will develop the expertise to guide you through that blockchain, and it won't be as expensive as a title search because a title search involves a physical human being flipping through card files, um, or at least uh, books in a dusty um, circuit court somewhere. So
What if, let's say, one of the bigger, let's say like the Zillows or the those companies where they're like, we verified that this is the real owner or something. Like, where's the use case for NFTs other than just proving that you own this house? What's the use case that it can be on a commercial level, in your opinion?
because it's inviolate, the blockchain is there. You can change a bill of sale. You can spoof it. You can scam people, as you talked earlier about with the rental properties. Um, you won't be able to do that when it's on the blockchain. So yeah,
Evergo Love, do
you'll
want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know we're covering the fact about lawyers and about your title searches and everything else. I think your biggest hurdle is going to be your government. How much taxes do they reap on every sale or purchase of a home? And if it's something as simple as transferring an NFT, you're going to have a hard time getting that around the government. I think, yeah, it might happen eventually, but I think that's a hurdle that's going to require a lot of regulation in order to actually accomplish that.
Yeah,
that's
they
a
have.
really good point.
It's a really good point.
And it also brings up the fact, and speculation, that governments are in deep trouble because of crypto, blockchain, NFTs. This is a paradigm that is going to completely flip the world upside down. Yes, it'll take some years. The adoption is going to be slow, uh, but there is the potential. And I think fiat currency and crypto will pretty much exist side by side for a long time. But there is a good case that can be made for fiat being history, and relegated to the history books, learning about the beginning of money before there was crypto.
Do you think it's more probable that ticketing might be ticketing would be adopted first versus, let's say, titles and all that stuff?
Probably because there's less money involved up front, so you don't have to have as deep a trust. Um, and it's an industry that is also rife with problems that can be solved with ticketing that way.
Go ahead, Evergrow.
Yeah, I was just gonna say your ticketing's a whole lot easier because your taxes are a whole lot less. The government's not as big into worrying about that portion of it. If a company wanted to post their, push out all their tickets as an NFT as proof of purchase in order to guarantee your seat at a concert or something like that, that'd be a whole lot easier to accomplish with what's already in place in today's crypto blockchains and everything compared to a real estate actual proof of ownership and the government involvement with what's going to be needed to make that happen. So ticketing by far should be, and if I'm not mistaken, it's already being pushed. You can already see that you've got your VR sources that are already starting to host concerts and stuff. If they're going to do that in VR, there's nothing that can stop them from actually using that same technology for real life concerts.
I'm curious about the experience of a VR concert versus being live and in person with other people. Um, I think for some people it'll be more enjoyable, and other people want that group kind of experience. But I wonder if it's a better way to have a more personal experience being in this kind of virtual environment. I'd love to talk to somebody who has had one and what their experiences was like being in a virtual concert because they owned a particular NFT or something.
Well, you got to think it depends on the VR company that's hosting it. A VR concert can be as something as you're in your avatar and you're in a VR world, but the concert itself is a live feed from a concert that's actually happening at the time, and you get the opportunity to interact and mingle with the other people that are there, maybe people that you've grown friends with in your VR world. But then there's also the VR version where the concert itself is actual virtual reality and they're actually digitally enhancing the images. We've seen a lot of posts come out lately where they can take somebody that's playing the drums. I've seen that post all over Twitter where they're playing the drums and they VR over that person and make him a completely different person. I mean, everything from a fantasy demon to you name it. They were able to do that with VR, and if you can imagine what they can do with a VR concert, it depends on the creator, the platform, and what they're going for, and that's going to depend on who they're trying to appeal to. In my opinion, your metal bands and stuff might actually like to go that route, where somebody, like a let's just say a country music singer might want that live feed or something, and that's what's going to drive that, and that's going to have to be what's at the forefront of that ticket sale is how that concert's going to be held in VR in the first place.
That live feed gives everybody center stage first row seats.
That's true. When you think about it, it's kind of a much more personal experience. Whereas, when you're in the nosebleed, then you're not necessarily, I mean, sure, it's still an experience, but I don't think it's quite as appealing of maybe being front, kind of front and center. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, so like CWP was saying, you get that first row seat or whatever. There's a lot of people out there that have anxiety. There's a lot of people out there like myself that just can't handle crowds very well. Once you get to a certain age or whatever, or once you've had enough life experience that there's things like that affect you, it kind of puts it so you can't go to concerts because you can't handle the crowd that's there in the first place. If you can do that in a VR environment, get that front row seat and actually experience being right there in front of the stage and being able to just move your head just like you're actually there and see everything that's going on. That's a totally different ball game because then you're in the comfort of your own home.
I am a VA patient for all my medical care. And when the Veterans Administration decided to do, just shortly before COVID, before they started doing televisits with your doctors and with your specialists and other personnel, I looked at it as being impersonal and questioned it. But now I am preferring them to visits in face to face. One, because I don't have to travel anywhere. Um, it's just as intimate a setting. I don't feel that it's any different seeing that person on my phone, other than that they're kind of tiny compared to real life. Um, but the quality is 100% just as much.
Just one second. I'm going to bring up Habibi. 1 second. Habibi the pug. Habibi, I hope you had an amazing birthday.
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. How you
Okay.
doing?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm fine. I'm fine. But I want to add something to this conversation right now about ticketing and live concerts. I think it's generational issue. We old guys, we do prefer being live on this than listening to the music to feel the drums and things like this. But the young guys, I think they will prefer sitting at home, with the earphones or VR goggles or something like this. They don't like contacts in real life. They have many friends around the world, and that's enough for them, I think. So we, as a old school guys, we will pass away, and then when the next generation will be adult, I think the situation may change a lot.
Do you foresee, I don't know, I mean, do you see, kind of an exponential growth in that area, in kind of the whole VR concert?
Well, I think right now, no, because the hardware right now is too poor to feel the vibes and the live concert, something like this. But it's a matter of time, I think, when they invent better, Google's better earphones and better, feeling the atmosphere of the concert. I think it will change. And it takes years, I think, but maybe not so fast as we think.
I appreciate your perspective. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring up Matt Healy. EverGrow Love, do you want to respond?
Yeah, I was just going to say, when we're talking about that VR and the NFT ticketing and everything, if you think about it, the NFT ticketing is for people that are actually going to be attending that concert live and they have their ticket on their phone or whatever. But you also, if you have, say, you got a headliner that sells out a stadium at 50,000 people, right? The opportunity to turn around and sell an additional 50,000 tickets across VR for the same experience. Now they just sold 100,000 compared to the maxed out capacity of that stadium. That's what's going to drive it, is their ability to actually increase those.
You, I think, absolutely nailed it right there.
Pay-per-view in real life.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So
There's
yeah,
something else. This is a negative viewpoint of all of the, not a negative viewpoint, but a negative uh, scenario that I see for the future that is going to drive this. I think COVID has been a little bit of a practice session for what's coming down the line. And um, because of people staying home and masking and being worried about contagion, I think that is going to grow, and and live events are going to diminish um, in size and frequency. And in addition to that, you have the insanity of shootings going on, which is also going to affect people's desire to put themselves at risk.
I think it's situational where you live. Certain countries don't really have to deal with that kind of insanity. Um, but I'll agree that when COVID hit, I was more than happy to watch the movies at home. I was, hey, I'm on my couch. I'm comfortable. I can eat what I want. If I want to order some food, I wasn't, paying the movie. They have like the lounge seating and all that stuff, and you can order food. And we would drop like a lot of money for that stuff for not necessarily the best experience. Yeah, it was comfortable and all that stuff, but we had to deal with other people and other people's bad habits. So I preferred to watch the movies at home. I wish they would do that again, but I know they make a lot of money in the theaters, so which is why they brought it back.
You know, I
Go
do.
ahead,
I
Everett.
knew a lot of, I know a lot of very religious people that whose life surrounds church, and going to church 3 or more times a week, and they completely stopped doing that. And a number of churches here locally started having televised worship services because of COVID. Um, I think that was only going to increase if we have more pandemics.
Absolutely. Evergo Love will bring you up in a second. I'm going to bring up Matt Healy. Thanks for being so patient there, Matt. How are you doing today?
Hi there, Steve. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you just great.
Oh,
How are you
that's good.
today?
Yeah, all good. It's just really weird. I've been listening to you for a long time on this, but I've never actually spoken, so this is unusual for me. Um,
It's a pleasure to meet you.
oh, good. I just wanted to mention a bit. I'm excited for all of the products, but I'm mainly excited for the staking, mainly because I've reached my limit of how much money I can put into this at the moment. My girlfriend's cut me off for the time being, and
Did you need a couple of us to speak to her maybe on your behalf?
I mean, I've been trying to persuade her a long time, but I don't think it's budging. We're saving up for a house at the moment, so I think that's the priority that needs to come first. But one thing I'm particularly excited for is the staking, and simply just to get more EverGrow mainly. But I'm quite intrigued with what Sam said in the MMA about it providing more benefits than just increasing your bag of EverGrow, really. So there was going to be some added things. And it kind of got me speculating a little bit on what that could be. And one thought I had is perhaps for the EverGrow Man NFTs, I was thinking EverGrow being like the platform that they are, they always want to provide value and have things that are good value for a long time. And I'm thinking for those NFTs, after all the two Lucro drops there's not going to be that much value for them. So I'm wondering if in the staking they're going to add a feature where if you have one of the NFTs, you can kind of link it to your staking and it will give you a couple of extra percent for that. I've seen that before on other projects, and I'm reckon that might be something that EverGrow do.
I think that was really, really wise of you to kind of catch that aspect because I caught that too, and my mind went a completely different direction with it. And so it's kind of funny, but Sam dropped a big hint, and I think it's up to us to try to maybe speculate, but obviously, we don't know what it is until they say it is. I think it's an interesting proposition. I think yeah, it would be very wise if you had this NFT to provide value beyond the immediate EverGrow contest, right? Or I mean the EverGrow Man contest. I think that's a very smart idea.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
yeah, I've seen that with another project, and you could add like 5 of their NFTs to it, and it gave you like an extra 3% per one. So it did add up quite a bit. And I was also wondering with the staking, it would be, I would love them to have an auto compounding feature for it. I've seen that with some other projects, and it works great. Unfortunately, the Brew Labs one doesn't do that with Lucro. You have to manually do it, and it would be awesome if EverGrow could do an auto compounding because I love to just leave it there and try and almost forget about it, and just let it do its thing. So I don't like having to keep going and checking and compounding it. So I would love to have that kind of feature with it as well.
I like that a lot. I didn't even know there was, I don't have a ton of experience with staking, but I like that. Personally, I would love to see push notifications. Maybe, in a month or so, you've accumulated this much would you like to compound it? And then you go back to the site, and do that. Obviously, don't put any links in there because you don't want people to get scammed,
Yeah.
but it would be nice to get some sort of push notifications.
Yeah, that sounds a great idea too. And also one last thing just to mention that I would also love them to have a feature where instead of getting the BUSD rewards, I could switch it and put a toggle or something that it would transfer it just that I could get EverGrow coin instead, just so it automatically does it. It kind of averages in when you buy in as well with it. And again, like it's one of those features where you don't have to do anything with it. You don't have to touch it, and it just will do it all for you in the background.
I love that idea that you can choose your rewards. The only thing that I worry about because the contract is locked in, how would they do that? Would
I mean,
they, it would have to be at the beginning, right?
yeah, I mean, I guess they
They've
would.
already addressed that. They've already addressed that. If you remember in one of Sam's, one of the times that he's been on with us, he said that one of the things that they were looking at is they didn't want the EverGrow staking to just be you're going to get one thing. They wanted to give people the option, and they're going to have the ability to get it in a different tokens to get your APR paid out in different tokens, not just BUSD or something. But you're going to be able to select from whatever they have available. I don't know how many it's going to be or what they are or anything, but it's not going to be just one thing.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to choose that. And then there's other benefits that they've also said against the staking besides just APR. They made a hint about possible drops or something, but that I don't know whether they were going down that route, but they did say that they have other things planned for staking other than just what your standard staking is. They want it to be a one of a kind thing.
Yeah, I understand that for the staking, but this is for the BSD rewards you get just for holding them anyway, even if you're not staking. And I'd imagine I know that the contract is locked to that, so I'd imagine it would be perhaps a feature within Atlas Wallet where it how some of them you can have it on a certain day. You buy in or you set it so it buys in if it hits at a certain price. So it'd be kind of like a feature that as soon as you get your BSD rewards, it will automatically then transfer it then into EverGrow. So you pay the fees on top of that instead of doing it behind the scenes, if that makes sense. Like it does it after it pays you, and then there's a feature, then it then does it, and then it's there.
It does, and I understand the desire to just want to ignore it and let it do its thing, but at the same time, it's with Atlas Wallet and the speed that they've already shown. If you just look at it once a month, you can sit there and say, "Well, this is my passive for the month." It'll be really easy for me to just say, "Hey, take this BUSD and buy EGC," and it'll take you what, less than 3 minutes. So I don't think that's something that we should be holding off for sure. Maybe a future enhancement. But I think that because of the simplicity of Atlas Wallet, I think it's going to be something that's just a click of a button and bam, you've got your EGC. I mean,
yeah, no, I imagine that. I'm all one for. I love talking about ecosystems. I love talking about efficiency. So it's just one of my things that I love going over in my head all day. So yeah. So anyway, thank you for having me up.
I did have
Thank you for being there.
one more thing, Steve, on those NFTs. You know, we were talking about them. One of the things people need to realize is this isn't limited to concerts or music. I mean, you got to think you could do sports events. I mean, can you imagine being VR on the football field and being able to basically run down the field with them while they play? I mean, that soccer, I mean, baseball, basketball, you name it. If you had the VR capability, you're not limited to where you have to sit. You can get up and move around and actually get a different viewpoint, or actually be standing under the basket when they go do a 3-pointer or something. You know, I mean, it really is unlimited. And it's not just sports and music. I mean, there's so many other applications to that where they could more than exceed their ticket sales if they were just looking at the surrounding area.
Yeah, I was just thinking about when you said that, you could theoretically choose to sit anywhere you want or stand anywhere you want. You're not limited to ringside seats. You can literally stand in any part of the court or part of the field you want to. I mean, the opportunities, depending on the sport. I mean, let's just say it was Olympics and you wanted to, get a perspective from, maybe rowing or something like that. You could be on a, what do they call those? The scuttles, I think they're called. You could literally be right next to them and you can watch your maybe, Team America or whatever it may be, or Team USA, Team, Switzerland or whatever it may be, and you follow your favorite team and go, well, that's just the opportunities, man. Just amazing. I love it. Stuff you don't even think about, right? Matt, I want to thank you for coming up and talking today. I really appreciate it, and good luck on the house hunting. And if you're able to convince your wife to buy more EGC Lucro, let me know how you did it, because I'd love some of that advice. Appreciate it.
If I may, Matt, thank you for coming on and speaking. I love your accent, so I hope you speak more. And if I can be so cheeky as to offer a suggestion for you in dealing with your wife and EGC, I don't know what your time frame is for buying a place that you're saving for, but if it's more than a couple of years, maybe even less, just explain to her how the size of the home that you can buy through savings is going to be much tinier than the home that you will be able to buy from the value of your EGC and the rewards in 2 or 3 years.
That's great advice. Thank you.
So, Matt, I got something for you. How would you like a Atlas Wallet T-shirt?
I mean, yeah, I would absolutely love one.
All right, DM me your address and I'll mail one out to you.
Are you sure?
I have sizes from, yeah, I got sizes from small to extra large.
Okay,
I'm going to send you one.
I live in the UK. Is that a problem?
Not at all.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, well, thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. What size is your wife? Is she DM me your sizes, and then I'll send her one too.
Oh, amazing.
All right, man.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Hersan, thanks for being so patient.
Thank you. This is for Matt. And before my question, I had that problem with my wife, and I take it that, Matt, your wife doesn't, or your girlfriend doesn't believe in crypto, right?
That is
So
correct. Yes, I think most of
yeah,
ours probably do not.
yeah. So this is what I did. I started doing overtime on purpose. So that way I don't touch the budget for the house. That way I can justify, yeah, but I'm not touching the budget.
Mm.
I'm not using money from the house. It's, I get up earlier while everybody's sleeping, so some of that overtime, then I can afford it to put it into the EGC. That way she can't say, yeah, but you use money from the budget, $100 a month or a week, because she doesn't believe it. If she believes in that, it would be more, she would understand that it's for the future, for the family. But until that comes, she will be, I'm speaking based on my experience. But now, I can afford to do that for the moment, like, until I stop buying. My question was, is a good idea now for me to sell my BUSD since Binance won't support it anymore? Or
We talked a little bit about that before. So even though Paxos is not issuing any more BUSD, it will still be backed 1-to-1, so it'll always have its value. And
oh,
you will
okay,
still get rewards in BUSD until Sam and the team decide they're going to potentially switch the rewards
okay,
from BUSD to something else. I don't know what that looks like, but Sam, Paul have tweeted about it many times, that don't be concerned. It's something that they've been planning for and working on. So one thing I was going to make a suggestion of is like, I opened a crypto wallet for my wife, right? And I sent her some EGC, I sent her some Lucro. And when staking opens up, I'm gonna give her the opportunity to stake so she could see the rewards for herself on her wallet, and that will hopefully make her a little bit more receptive to the potential of passive income. So I don't know if that's something that
I did
you might want to
I,
consider.
I did try that technique before with a different crypto, and then that was when markets were all good, everything was all high, and then the big drop happened, and then that went to close to zero for what she had. So I think that's where she lost her confidence, and trying to persuade her that there's a difference between some projects and other projects, and this one I trust is difficult to do, but I'm working on it, and I've sent her some now, and I'm boosting it up. So I'm hoping in a year or so time I can show her, look, this is what has happened from this. You should have let me buy some more earlier.
Yeah, it's tough, when the psychology is when the price is down, people are apprehensive to sell or buy, I mean. But when the prices go up, people get this fever, like, I better get in or I'm going to miss the boat. And that's ideally the best time to be buying, when it's rising rapidly, right? You want to be kind of accumulating, maybe when it's kind of like, in the +5, +10, -5, -10, somewhere right around there, if ideally anyway. So when it goes up too fast, that's when you can kind of really get bitten. But I totally get it. That's kind of human psychology. That people kind of want to buy them when the price is going down versus when it's going up.
When the price starts going up on EGC and it shows in your Trust wallet or in your Atlas wallet the value of your bag, putting that rising number in front of any wife will convince them of the security that is involved in a growing company that they own a part of through you.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes a case for like, look how much it's up today, right? I tell my wife when it goes up, and I tell her, hey, the market took a hit because of this, and she understands kind of the macro environment right now. But she's kind of of the mindset, like, if you think it's worth buying, then I'll buy it. But I don't really recommend much outside of EGC and Lucro at this point, because my tolerance for unmitigated risk is very low. So yeah, go ahead, Hersan.
yeah, and understanding also that Some people won't just understand this thing, crypto. They just won't. I remember one time I asked my brother-in-law that if he knows anything about crypto and Bitcoin. He said, yeah, like 10 years ago, I could have been in Bitcoin. Um, it just, it's not based on anything, And I said, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. And I didn't continue the conversation because he already told me that basically, between the lines, he doesn't believe in that, you know. But 10 years ago, man, thinking he could have been a millionaire. And he said it in a way that it's like proud of that. And some people are like that. I asked some of the followers I have on Facebook, and they say the same thing. Like, wow, I could have been there. And thinking back or now in the future, that is one of their worst financial decision. The problem is uh, it's hard to understand. People who understand that now are lucky. And if you see through history, now and before, the people who have changed history, not many people around them understood that, you know? Only the ones who did were lucky to understand it and ride that wave with them. Crypto, I think, is the same. Not many people in my family understand that. I think my brother, and besides that, they can say, "Yeah, I heard," but hearing about that and understanding it are two different things. I have the same case. My wife don't understand. Even after I made money with Dogecoin, she said, "I just don't understand it." Like, you know, and I mean, we just have to pull through this market and then enjoying the benefits in the bull market. But uh, we have an open mind for that. That's why you understand. But the same the same way we have that open mind, we have to understand that our minds, some people's minds, just don't understand it. Same way you don't probably I don't understand math or it's so hard for me. For somebody else can be just like drinking water. Like our IQ or brain are not, you know, uh, open for that, if that's a word, that to understand things like that. I hope one day my my wife one day would say like, hey, I want to look into that, you know. But I'm on my own. I just do overtime so I can buy as much as I can, so she doesn't yell at me like, oh, you're using money from the budget.
Yeah, it's funny because go ahead, City Pete.
That's okay. Just um, because I can be a provocateur at times, just out of the evilness in my heart. People that roll their eyes at crypto and say, "I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's a, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." Ask them simply to, in detail, explain how fiat currency works, because 99% of people have no idea what money is and how it actually functions and how it came to function down through history. What is a dollar? Is that a piece of paper uh, or a silver coin? And where did that come from? How does it function philosophically? How does it function um, in all of the ways that money is a store of value? And ask somebody to explain that to you and watch them trip over their tongue.
Yeah, it's very true. I don't think I truly understand how money truly functions. I know it has an assigned value based on what it's been printed on, but as far as a dollar is always a dollar, I understand that. What you can get with that dollar changes over time. Just like, buying a horse used to cost like $7. What buying a horse today is very different. Or buying a car, it might have been, I think when the first Model T came out, it was a couple hundred or something like that, $400 maybe. I can't remember now. But yeah, so even buying just a few decades ago, a car cost 12,000 or 8,000 or something. So, that's where you have to really be careful with inflation and how much money you make, how much money you spend, and that budgeting, because what you think you can get today for a certain amount is not necessarily what you can get tomorrow. So, and it could change quite quickly. We saw that during the pandemic, right? We saw rapid fluctuations just on stupid things like toilet paper or hand sanitizer, of all things, right?
Eggs.
Exactly, eggs. Yeah, wildest thing. Who would have thought? When avian flu, you mix all that stuff into it, right? I think we've talked about our kind of crypto story in the past, and crypto CWP. I think yours and mine are pretty similar. Like, I think it was 2008 for me when I first heard about Bitcoin, and the guy I was working with, he was telling me about Bitcoin and asked me if I was going to buy it, right? And I was pretty incredulous at the time. I was like, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life." And, like, but meanwhile, I played video games and I was actually using real money to buy gear within the game. So I was like, you would think I would be able to understand that concept, right? Here I am taking real money, I'm buying something that's non-tangible, and I'm making my life better with it somehow, right? But I did not, I couldn't, I had a mental block, and I regret that to this day that I didn't have, and I think I'm a pretty open-minded kind of guy, but for whatever reason, I was just not able to grasp the concept. And I regret that, and I promise myself I will never make that mistake again. When I hear a new idea, I want to hear it out. I want to give it its full attention, and break it down for me. Why do you think this is a good thing? Tell me, educate me, please. I'm open-minded, because I don't want to miss out. I could have been a multimillionaire right now because I had the means to buy a lot of Bitcoin at that time, but it wasn't meant to be, obviously. So,
Our
but yeah.
story is similar, but mine I think is even worse. I am a person that is curious about everything usually, but when I got approached about Ethereum, I had no interest in learning about what it was. Total ignorance and refusal to even not even attempt to understand it, but to even find out what it was. And I could have bought all I wanted for $3 a coin. And yes, I've kicked myself many, many, many times over that. Um, Even later, when I had heard more about crypto, I wasn't interested. My focus was on stocks. And what tripped me up was a friend in the Philippines who was relatively uneducated, very young, in her early 20s, I guess, had no idea what she was doing, but she was on Binance buying crypto and day trading from her phone and making money at it out of pure ignorance. Um, and uh, that shamed me, deeply shamed me into, I need to know what's going on with this stuff. And that started me on the whole process.
It's kind of crazy, huh? When you think about it. Like, I mean, especially in a, place like the Philippines, even if she made $10 USD, that's a huge amount of money. I mean, you can have lunch in the Philippines for what, a few bucks, you know what I mean? So I can't remember what the conversion is, but so day trading it with no real formal knowledge and being successful, um, man, that's a dream. A lot of people who have, a lot of knowledge, a lot of education, and they still can't pull off a successful trade. And they're putting a lot of money into it too.
I have to tell a
It's
quick
wild.
story on her um, that was very, very interesting. She wanted to do a pump and dump. And I talked to her about pump and dumps. By this time, I'd learned enough about crypto to be a little bit more better than dangerous. And so I said, it's legal. Basically, it might be immoral or unethical, but it's still legal, both there and in all of the rest of the world, for that matter. So give it a try. And she did, and watched this pump go sky high, and then didn't know how to convert it back to a currency and get out of it, and lost it all.
She got bitten by the same thing that she was trying to make successful, huh?
Yes, out of her, and that's because she didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah. I wonder how many people have similar stories like that, right? Just, getting into accidental. Back in the day, I built computers just for fun. And so I could have easily built a mining rig back when Bitcoin was mineable by your home PC. And if I had just paid attention a little bit, I could have been mining Bitcoin on my own. And people were mining, yeah, like a Bitcoin here and there. It doesn't sound like a lot, but today even 28,000, whatever it is, for one Bitcoin, even if you sold at one, 5,000 or something like that, you could do very, very well for yourself. So yeah, like I said, I think many of us have been learned to be a little bit more patient and take a deep breath and say, okay, well, what is this? And is this a viable project? I don't really follow a lot of projects really, really that close. But there's a handful that, where I know there's people in EGC that are, in staked, whatever like that. And these are people that I trust and good people. And so, I wish them well, and I hope that it works out for them. I think Mike, you were just talking about their NFTs and stuff, and how I can't remember what he said now. It's like something like if you have their NFT, let me read his comment that he told me 1 second here. If you had their NFT, they have their Incredibles, so it gives them an extra 4%, and he's getting 12% on his staked. So that's pretty damn cool. 12%. That's nothing to sneeze at. Right now Lucro is 9 point something, which is great. Anytime you can get 8% or higher, you're doing really well. Because I mean, a good investment in stocks, you're getting 7 plus. If you get any other promises other than 7, you're probably into a REIT or something like that, or and even then a REIT might not even pay that much anymore, just with the high vacancy rates. So maybe in apartments, that might be doing some good and all that stuff. So there's some good projects out there. I wish I followed them a little closer, but
Or your alternative is just to put your money in the bank and get 1% on it.
yeah, basically nothing. 0.025 or something like that. I mean, it's kind of a slap in the face, right? Back in the day when you used to be able to get at least 3%, and in interest, and now they just take it all. So no wonder people want to get into crypto.
You're actually losing money by keeping it in the bank.
Yeah, because of inflation, absolutely. Yeah.
Might as well keep it under the mattress.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Person, go ahead.
I remember in the bull market, I spoke with some people, and two, I even opened a wallet for them, put some money for them, through conversation, taught them how to buy the coin, and they saw that money rising a little bit. Well, that was probably 1 or 2 years ago. You would think they would be a little bit knowledgeable by now. No, they forgot about it. It goes back to probably what I was saying, that some people just don't get it. No matter what you do, they won't get it. Now they understand the result. Okay, I put 50 and now it's 150. That they can see and understand, but the and I think it's also the how difficult still is. If it would be simple as, oh, you just download this, put some money, buy and sell, and that's it. It would be easier for more to get more people into crypto. But the way it is right now, that you have to swap and then swap it back and then send it to Trust Wallet, and then if you make money, you have to swap it back to Smart Chain and then send it to Binance, and then all those steps makes it hard for people. But I that was my contribution in crypto at the moment, and they just lost it. Like, they were not interested. Now, not everybody is like that. We just have to be patient, like you said, because I was one of them. I remember when my brother told me, I didn't understand the concept. Like, what is that? And I could have made a lot of money through Doge, because when I bought it, it was like 10 cents, something like that. When he told me, it had a couple of zeros. Same amount, I would have been a lot wealthier. Anyway, yeah, I guess we just have to be patient, and EGC EverGrow make it easier for people to understand that, because even people, I've seen that. I have a friend, she's a financial advisor, but she understands fiat. She doesn't understand crypto. So even people with knowledge in finance wouldn't understand. So for me, it's not like, oh, average people won't get it because of the or because of that. And the people more acceptable would be people with certain college level. I don't know. I think it's in your heart. Like, do you want to be something? You want to do something with your life. Those risk takers, they will open their mind easier because they are not attached to the system that, oh, I work hard, I save for 30 years, and that's how I'm gonna make it. Or if I make a traditional business, but if they have that thing in their heart, like always looking for something, how to make it in life, those minds will be open at some point. That's the way I see it.
It almost sounds like an entrepreneur and mentality,
Yes.
So if you see an opportunity, to better yourself, better your family, make a business, or in this case, invest, then yeah, you got to have that curiosity, right? Go ahead, Matt, jump in.
Yeah, I've often had these like what if kind of best case scenario talks with my partner, and one of the debates we've kind of come up with, and I'm intrigued to see what the rest of you guys what your thoughts are to this. We've said that if whatever I'm holding right now somehow goes up to the price that could buy us a house outright, she reckons I should sell it all and then we buy a house all right and then we're set. But the way I see, and I think this is just perhaps my trust in EverGrow, is that if it, in the long run, if it pays enough in the reflections to cover the cost of a mortgage per month, I would rather wait in the long term and just see how it goes and just pay that mortgage each month with the reflections rather than get rid of it all and then buy the house and then after that not have that hope or that dream that more could come from it. I'm intrigued to see if the rest of you guys have had similar conversations or what your approach to that scenario would be.
I personally have not had that conversation, but in my head, I think of 20 to 30% sell 10, 20 or 30%, and let the rest go, and then I have that. I've basically made my money, right? And I'm going to let the rest ride, and then that 20 to 30% I could use for paying the bills, paying mortgage, whatever it may be, and then I don't have regret. If let's say something happens where the market goes down again, right? I don't have that regret of oh my God, I should have sold something, even 50% or 20% or something. I should have sold and benefited from it. Now I'm going to wait until the next bull market. So I think that's my personal opinion. When I'm faced with that decision, I don't know if that's what I'm going to do, though, to be honest, because the adrenaline kicks in, right? And you're like, oh man, it's going to go higher and higher. I mean, where's my potential small exit point? I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys say about that. Hassan, you want to go start? You want to go first?
Yeah. Um, yeah. I was gonna say something like that too because, and I was trying to talking with my brother about it so I can be more knowledgeable about it. And I said something that I was thinking that, especially reflection, they let's say you're gonna get based on what you have, let's say $300 a month, based or a day, whatever, based on what you have. The problem is, like you said, that only is good during the bull market. And the bull market doesn't last for years and years. It's like 2 3 months, and then bear market, and then the cycle. During a bear market, you might not get. Oh, I'm gonna use myself. I might not get the $300 a month or a day. So then I was thinking that you have not you me. I have to first find the projects with honesty and the requirements that will make me believe that they will do good during a bull market. That they're not going to take my money. Then I have to accumulate or to buy enough of those coins so that in the bull market I can reach my goal and sell. Now, if I have a bag and the bull market comes, if someone can understand what I'm saying after I finish, you can translate it better in English. But this is my thoughts. You have a bag, and then comes the bull market, and you say, "Well, I can sell half and do what I can with that." Now, if what you sold is good enough so I can do certain things, but not all my dreams, then what happens with the other half I left there? When the bear market comes again, it's gonna be insignificant unless my first bag was big, because when the prices go up and down, but when they come down, they don't go to the same level that you can say, well, with $100 I can buy millions, and everything will be fine for the next bull market. And I'm gonna use Dogecoin as an example. It was 0.00 whatever. With $100 you can buy a lot. Now, bull market came, and you saw your value in 500. You can say, well, let me sell half, 250. What happened? Dogecoin came down to 6 cents, 10 cents. Now you're gonna need a lot more money to buy Doge so that when the next bull market comes, you can reach your final goal. You know what I'm saying? Because um, it goes up and then goes down, but not to the same level. So unless you have a lot of that you can say, well, I can say half and I'm set. I just gonna let the other half ride. So if you don't have enough of that, you might have to wait. If you don't want to sell, you might have to wait one or two bull markets to reach your final destination. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think so. I just looked at EGC as an example. Back when launched, right? I don't remember what the base price was, if anybody remembers, but just looking at CoinGecko, like I'm looking at 804056 on September 27th of 2021, right? So even we're in a bear market right now, we are still way up compared to that kind of price. So is it even realistic that it would go down to that price? Highly unlikely, in my opinion. Highly unlikely. So looking at the long term, if you zoom out, yes, you're going to see the market go down, but in comparison to its low, it's still higher than that. But then when the bull market hits, now you're going up again. And then if it drops down in the bear market, then you're still going to be looking at this upward trajectory, right? Because the project continues on, it doesn't die. And that's the whole point of what we're doing is to keep building, keep building, keep building, keep releasing utilities, keep making profit, and then keep going. So I totally see your point on that. Unless you decided, okay, let's say if I sold 20% or 30%, and then I held on to a certain amount of that, and then the bear market buy it back to increase your bag size to hopefully put you in a better position. That's very forward thinking and trustful thinking. So I don't know if everybody has that diamond hand or not. I know my strategy was if Lucro hits and I do really well on it, my money is going to go into EverGrow because I can leverage the profit from Lucro to EverGrow and also get the passive income. So that was my strategy personally. I kind of just that's just how I feel about it. I think EverGrow, Love, you were first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of comment on that. It depends on your investment goal to begin with. So if your investment goal and you're buying EGC or you're buying Lucro or whatever, and your goal is to get to a certain point and sell half of it and take a profit and so forth, then okay, that principle applies, because then when the bear market comes, you're not gonna you're gonna be looking at price, right? Where if your investment goal is to have a certain size bag so that you can generate a specific amount of passive, then it doesn't matter when the bear market comes, because if we've increased volume by utilities going up through a bull market, that volume is going to go through the roof. Your price is going to go up, yes. And yes, you could take a small profit if you want, but if your goal is the passive, then you're kind of anticipating the next bear market, because you're going to have just as much volume with people wanting to sell while people are starting to buy the dips and fill their bags just like they have been. So if we're averaging, say, 20,000 volume now in this bear market, knowing we were only out for a few months before the bear market hit, when the next bull market hits and we have utilities out, that's going to drive volume. That's going to drive investors to go and actually purchase EGC or Lucro or both. And then when the bear market does hit, yeah, you're going to have people that are with that mentality of, I'm in it for the price and not the volume. And they're going to sell when they start seeing those dips. And for those of us that are in it for the passive, you're just helping us out, because you're keeping that volume moving, and you have a chance of actually increasing our passive in a bear market compared to a bull market.
Yeah, excellent point. Go ahead, Matt, jump in.
Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. The fact what I love about EGC is, as you say, it's based on the volume. And if people are exiting the market, that's still volume for us. And if you are one of the passive income holders, then it only benefits. And I imagine that as well when staking comes out too. If people were staked in the bull market, and then when it goes to the bear, if they unstake, then I imagine the APY from staking as well will only increase. So it's nice the way they're building this for that long term, that they're making it so there's no incentive to even sell during a bear. Like as I remember when I first got into this, and I started on crypto.com, and I was looking at coins there, and I saw Binance, and it was only about $30 at the time. And this was just before the bull market. So then it went up to about 500, and now it's come back down, but it's now only 200, and it's supposed to be the bear. So it's still way above what it was just before that bull. So if EverGrow can, as you say, they can keep making the utilities, I can imagine that almost looking a bit like a stair that slightly, it will go up, it slightly come down, but it will never go back to what it was for that previous bear market. So you can kind of try and time it tactically to get the most out of it, but I'm trying to go from the way of putting all this to the investing in the crypto, putting it to the side, trying to live life normally, and then looking at the positives of it when every so often when I do look at it. Really try not to stress too much about it is the tactic that I'm going for.
I think it's a great strategy. And maybe I'm just an optimist, but I see EverGrow as kind of like the Berkshire Hathaway of crypto. And I remember back in the day when Berkshire was roughly a $3,000 stock, and Berkshire Hathaway they don't believe in splitting at all, so they don't split their stocks, all that stuff, and they do provide passive income, right? So today they're roughly in the 550,000 per share price range. I remember like way back when they were like 3,000, and I thought that was too expensive, but I didn't have the vision again. I didn't see the potential. And this is the kind of thing, a stock that people hand down from generation to generation. It's in their will that they will get their Berkshire Hathaway stock to their kids. And this is the kind of thing that I see EverGrow becoming as we build utilities, as we build profit, and we start to buy back and burn our own tokens, and we reduce our supply. Eventually, it's going to get to a point where we don't want to reduce our supply anymore. Now we want to turn on rewards. And because we might just be in a position where the price is going up too high and the buyback and burn is not as valuable anymore, and now we're not being able to burn it, it just makes more sense to take that money and put it back into rewards. So I see that EverGrow to be that leader in the space. And so go ahead, jump in, EverGrow.
I just want to say the only way the price will ever be too high, in my opinion, is when we're the highest price stock on the market, beating out Ethereum and everything else.
yeah, and I know Sam wants to be, what was it? What was he? He said he wanted to be a top 100,
Top
um,
20.
top 20. I mean, this is a guy who comes from finance. He's got a solid background. For him to make that kind of prediction, and even he's very careful about what he says. So to make that statement, to be a top 20, um, I think he has the skill to back it up. That's my opinion. We have the transparency, the honesty, the integrity, and he's got a vision, and everybody's behind him. So why not? Why not? I think it's possible, doable. I have vision on this one. I'm not going to miss the boat. That's just my opinion.
I have a comment for the house buyers out there. I've heard a lot of, so far as dealing with more traditional investment scenarios with crypto, that I really like the idea of you buy into a crypto, and as it increases up in price, when you reach the amount of money that you have put into it, you pull that out and let the rest of it ride forever. Um, because it doesn't matter what happens to the price of that afterwards, you've made your investment back. For At my age, I would like to own a home again. I've owned three in my life. I'm tired of apartment living, but I don't have the years left for a 30-year mortgage, or probably even a 15-year. So if I get to the point that I can buy a home outright, I will do so. But for you guys that are in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, that doesn't make any sense because of inflation. And crypto or not, your home buying price is going to be linked to fiat currency. So the money that your mortgage cost you every month in 20 years will be a pittance in value compared to what it is today. So you're much better off, even with the huge rate of interest on your mortgage, to buy your home with the least amount of down that you can, and the least amount that still gives you the ability to pay the mortgage, of course, with ease, hopefully, um, and and pay off the end of it with very, very reduced inflated dollars.
I think, I've had this scenario run in my head a few times, but I would like personally to have an income property where we're like an apartment building, and I have no problem living in that apartment building and renting out the other suites and let somebody else pay my mortgage for me, and build value for the next generation. So that's kind of, yeah, everybody's always needs a place to live, right? That's just how it is. The question then becomes of where do they want to live? San Diego is a pretty hot market. It's tough to find anything income wise for probably under anything 1.2 million or something like that, even for a duplex. So you have to start thinking creatively, right? And what else you can do and where else you can live, where people, it's a desirable place to live, and people will stay, right? That's the key thing. So that's kind of my long-term goal, is to have an income property, or believe it or not, a car wash. I love the idea of having a car wash, where people just, pay digitally with hopefully crypto, and I'll take Lucro for it, and they can wash their car, and then all I've got to do is take care of the maintenance, and people always need clean cars, so that's just my kind of goal personally.
That's a good point. And I mean, even if you bought a home, buying an apartment complex for an investment would be a great idea. I've found it very interesting that of the last few years here, with Indiana University being such a big deal, that parents who have the wherewithal and are sending their kids to college, with their little golden spoons, instead of paying rent, they're buying their child a condo. And with the idea that the condo will grow in value over the 4 years of their education, enough for them to make a tidy little profit on it.
That's an interesting strategy. I wonder if it works because you've got, yeah, condos are tricky, with condo fees and all that stuff. I guess it depends where you live. If you live like near a university, I could see it growing in value over time because there's as long as the university's there, they're going to keep having kids and they're going to need a place to stay. And there's always another parent out there that wants to put their kid into a condo and not put them into housing so that they can party too much. You know what I mean? So
And the same is true of areas of the country where home values are rising and people are moving. Um, and unless the condo is a sinkhole because it needs so much money put into it in repairs. But even I had a half brother that became a millionaire off of the U.S. government buying HUD homes. Um, he bought HUD homes for pennies on the hundreds of dollars. I think there were some that he bought from HUD that were trash that he paid $1 for the property, moved into it, restored it, and sold it for thousands.
there you go, having a little bit of vision, right? And a lot of people would just turn around and walk
Yep.
out. It's a little bit of vision. That's all you need. Uh, yeah, and I think, in crypto in general right now, it takes a lot of people to be here in this time with the market being down. A lot of people have walked away. They literally have walked away. They're like, there's no money to be made in crypto right now. That's that short vision, kind of like I can't see the next bull market coming. I can't see the next thing potential. And so, you guys being here and still in the space, still active, still involved in crypto, still accumulating, you guys are the smart ones, you know what I mean? And that, you're here, you're willing to make it through this market and make it through the tough times. Even though it's stressful, you're here and you're putting in the work. And I wish you guys the very best. I cannot wait for the next bull market to hit. And for you guys to tell me all your stories. Yeah, I bought a boat, I bought a house, I took care of my kids, I put them through college, whatever it may be, whatever your dream was. I hope that all for you guys. I really do, because you guys are just amazing. You guys are amazing people. So thank you. Gonna read a comment here. Let's see here. Axifam posted. Did you want to respond to that?
No, I just wanted to say, and I can't wait to rub the faces of those people that bailed in. Except I won't have to because they'll be crying in their beer over the lost opportunity that they threw away.
I really think there's going to be a lot of regrets out there. There's going to be people that are in the same boat that we were way back when we got into heard about crypto and we didn't take that opportunity. And they're going to be like, "Why didn't you tell me, man? I've been telling you the whole time. You just weren't listening. You kept calling it a scam and all that stuff." So, Person, coming up.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Because that's the only thing most people, not everybody, most people understand results. You can teach them, you can, like I did, open the wallet and all that. When they see you, that you went from a bicycle to, a nice car, that will intrigue them, and then they will come and they will regret, like me. I regret not listening to my brother and paying the price. But hopefully next time I'll be one of those stories that people will say, "Wow, he went from this to that." Yeah, a lot of people will be regretting that. But hey, that's life.
Steve, do you happen to know how many holders we have now and how that has changed in EGC through this bear market? Did we actually lose holders in numbers, or have we just changed holders um, and kept the same numbers, but with people that had some vision to hang in here?
So to my knowledge, yeah, we lost a lot of holders, but that just again, people got out of the market, right? So if you look at the numbers and it says roughly 137,000 or something, right? A lot of that, and I don't know what the true numbers are. I'd have to really go through it. A lot of that is just dust now because people have sold out. I don't know what the true number is. I really don't. Maybe we've shrank down, you know, 20%, 30. I have no idea. I'm not too sure. I don't know what that real number is. If somebody does know, it'd be really interesting because that could give you a really, really good idea of a potential entry point into a project, right? If there's only a couple hundred holders of a project, and you believe that they're working on something really good, you're early to the table. You don't want to be kind of, after they've already hit 50, 100,000. The potential upside is harder, takes longer to get there, right? But the guys that were the first 1,000, guys and gals, whatever, first 1,000, those are the ones that really are going to reap the benefits because they're already holding. EverGrow left, jump in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, that's something I check all the time. And we got up to just under 140,000 at one point holders. We're down to 137,000 now. On average, we only lose 3 or 4 holders a day. And then sometimes it'll increase and we'll gain several. Like when they first pulled LunaSky Beta down, we actually gained holders on the EGC side, and then it turned around and we're back to losing just anywhere from 2 to 5 a day right now. It's not a lot, and like you said, they might not be selling their entire bags, but if we've got 137,000 holders, you've also got to look at the amounts that they hold. So to be in the top 1,000 out of 137,000, literally, if you can own under 50 million EGC, which is just under $2,500 or something like that, and you are in the top 1,000 out of 137,000 people.
Kind of wild when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A buddy of mine is in the top, and Lucro, he's like top 150, something like that. And he just accumulates all the time, a little bit buys here and there. And I'm like, good on you, dude. Like, at this rate, you're going to be in the front page, top 100 or whatever. And I just love when people are just, bullish like that, and
Yeah,
they're willing to take that risk.
Lucro's a little bit different because there's not quite as many holders there, and your volume change doesn't actually pull the holders in quite as much yet. That's going to significantly change on the release of Atlas Wallet and LunaSky both. You're going to see the amount of holders in Lucro actually grow at a pretty fast rate. That's just my opinion on it. Your EGC, though, we've hovered around this area for about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half now. But what's interesting to watch is don't just watch the holders. Look at the bag size changes. That to me is a bigger indicator of whether you should be buying or not. When you start seeing those top 250 bags, all of a sudden they're buying a lot more and they're not selling, or they're not doing they're not doing the opposite of what you need them to do. That's like a buy point. It's like, okay, something's coming.
Out of curiosity, how do you keep an eye on that? What's your strategy for watching that?
I just look at BSC scan for the most part, like once a week, and I'll just kind of scan through the holder accounts, scan at how many tokens do they hold, what position are they in. I do like to look and see what position I'm in, just to see if how that's changing. How many people now have a bigger bag size than I do, right? And so one of the things that I watch when I first got into EGC, I was in the top 600 people. And now I am down to right around 750-ish. So that tells me that I've got at least 150 people that have increased their bag size to more than what I have, which means that we've got people still buying, still growing, right? Um, that's just one of the things I look at. I look at the volume. I look at the amount of holders. I don't normally care about the price. I don't care if it's up 5% or 50%. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just looking at volume, holders, and their bag sizes. That's all.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. With Watch Wallet, with Atlas, that'll make it a lot easier. You can definitely keep an eye on things. And with up to 50, I love that idea. Go ahead, Matt, jump in.
Yeah, going off that point there, I don't know if I've thought of this right or not, but in my head, the only kind of flaw I can kind of see with the EverGrow ecosystem is that I would rather there be if it was just going off passive income, I would rather there be a small number of holders with small bags, but a large amount of people using the utilities. Because if, let's say, Atlas Wallet generates $1 million a month from that, it's then distributed to the small number of people that do have EverGrow, rather than if a large amount of people had it, then that reward is distributed out smaller. Although yes, there is the £5 or the 5% buy-in and the sell from it, but that only happens once. Where if it's $1 million a month from Atlas Wallet, it's the smaller number of holders will gain more. So I don't know if it's just me being slightly selfish in that reason, but I feel like I would rather lots of people use the utilities, but a smaller number actually hold EverGrow.
Interesting. Go ahead, EverGrow Love.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to piggyback on that a little bit. So, I, I in a way, I'm kind of greedy as well. I would like it if only 10 of us held EverGrow and we were reaping all the benefits from Atlas Wallet and LunaSky and everything. But don't think that's going to quite be the case. But if you look at it in the bigger picture, okay, so if 500,000 people hold EverGrow, and out of those 500,000, just 100,000 are constantly adding to their bag, and 100,000 are slowly selling off their bag. Doesn't matter how many holders we have. It matters what kind of volume are they creating, right? Are they buying big bags, or are they slowly buying in $100 at a time? Doesn't matter. The more volume, so the more holders you have, the more volume, it's going to come back around, and it's going to be distributed based on the available tokens that are out there, right? And as you get Atlas Wallet, LunaSky, the games, anything else that we come out with, also generating revenue and contributing to buyback and burn. That's like having an extra holder that's generating its own money, and it's all for us.
One point that I haven't heard anybody mention yet, but as the price goes up for even Lucro or EverGrow, when you have buys and sells, that dollar amount, right, is going to be potentially a lot more, because people are essentially the dollar price for the token is higher. So you're still getting that volume, maybe trading with a less amount of, let's say, trades, but you're still getting that same dollar value or higher, which basically still gives you the rewards, right? So go ahead, Evergola.
Yeah, exactly. So if somebody sets aside and they say, okay, I can do $100 a payday, it doesn't matter what the price is when they go to invest that $100, whether they get 1,000,000 tokens or whether they get 100,000 tokens, they're still going to invest that $100. It's still $100 worth of value. And if the price is higher and is creating a little bit less on the volume side, we're getting a greater reward because the price is higher to begin with. So it doesn't take as much volume. So if we're getting, say, 100,000 people right now, and you're making $2 a day, and the price is 6 zeros and a 4, okay? If the price goes up to, let's say, 3 zeros and a 4, and you're getting the same amount of volume, your passive income is through the roof.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking. I think a lot of people can't really wrap their head around that. But once you see it in action in real life, then you get it. You're like, wow. Then you're starting to see you don't need to hold as much to get the same amount of rewards. But here we are accumulating in this bear market time, right? And if you're able to get the billions of tokens, billions of EverGrow, and then meanwhile, then the price does go up, and you still see a significant amount of volume, and that's the whole point of utilities, right? Is to generate that volume to get people to buy and to get people to stake, to get people to use it, to get people to use Lucro, that use case. You get all of this working together in concert. That's when you start to see the real rewards, when the system really starts to shine. Go ahead, jump in, buddy.
Yeah, one last thing. So on that point as well. So a lot of us that were here from the beginning, when it first started, a lot of us were making, hundreds a month, hundreds, if not thousands, okay, off of passive income based on the volume. And that's with 6 zeros, or 7 or whatever we're at right now. Like I said, I don't really watch the price, okay? But that's with a whole lot of zeros. If we come out with the utilities and EGC blows up like it's supposed to, we're going to drop 1, 2, 3 zeros. And the volume alone that's necessary to reach that same amount that we were making right when this project launched is going to be just a fraction of what it was. I've posted before that it took originally it would take 25 million in volume for me to substantiate my wife's income. Right now, because of the bag size and everything, literally it would take 10 million in volume for me to substantiate my wife's income on passive income. Okay. As the price goes up, the volume goes down that it takes for me to substantiate my wife's income. So if we were to drop 2 or 3 zeros, I'd be happy at 50,000 volume a day, because that's enough to substantiate my wife's income.
And one thing you didn't take into account was circulating supply. If the buyback and burn is going on all that time, you're reducing the circulating supply, your rewards are going up because there's less of the tokens to go around. So you work all of those things together, what you just talked about.
Right, because when you consider the passive, it's based on the available coins, not the amount of holders, right? So it's based on how many coins are circulating in the system now. And as we do buyback and burn and we reduce that, if we ever get down to just 200 trillion tokens compared to 400 trillion tokens, you've now doubled your passive income because you have less circulating tokens out there. And as people stake and remove those from pools or freeze them up. So I know there's going to be, you can earn rewards on staking. So as far as EGC goes, I don't see staking as something that's going to remove or increase the passive income for those. It's just going to increase people wanting to get into it. Now, as far as Lucro goes, the more that's staked, actually, the lower the circulating supply that's actually being able to be in a liquid form at that time. They got to wait for that staking period to be over, whether it be 30 days or a year or whatever they stake it for. In that time, those tokens are frozen.
Exactly. I mean, with Brew Labs, it's only 30 days, and you can still get it out if you want to. You don't necessarily have to, wait. But it behooves you to keep them staked because you don't want to lose that 10% for the first 30 days. So you're absolutely right. And I think the last time I looked for Lucro, it was, let me look it up. I think there was over $1 million in Lucro staked. I'm gonna go look up real quick. And yeah, 1.05 million is staked right now, and that equates to a 9.18% APY, or annual percentage yield. What's the total amount staked? Oh, here we go. 16,349,800 and no, sorry, 16,349,000,000, 813,701. So that is a healthy amount staked, and then you got so much left at the liquidity pool too. So I'm going to give Jordovic here the mic, but go ahead, jump in there, EverGrow.
Yeah, I was just going to say with that staking, I staked pretty much the week that Lucro token came out, and I've been watching my APR on that, and I've already been paid. Sometimes I get paid the 9%. Sometimes I've gone over 10% getting paid. So it depends on when you're getting paid out on that, because once you hit your 30 days, it just depends on when they're triggering that for you. It's not always when you pull it out. So I've compounded, I've done other things with it. But yeah, if you compound too, you're just increasing how much you're getting back on that. So staking, I know there's been a lot of questions on here about staking, but staking to me is, if you plan on holding and you don't plan on selling, staking is a no-brainer, because you're going to hold it anyway. Why not earn money on top of money while you're doing it? If you plan on, hey, I might need to pull it out in the next 30 days or something, or I might need to sell a portion of it. Okay, stake what you're not going to be able, what you don't think you need to sell. Keep the rest of it available. But if you have the ability to stake, I just don't understand why somebody wouldn't stake.
Yes, absolutely. I see it the same way too. And it's not like, you have to go through this painful process of unlocking your funds like it's some sort of retirement account. You literally two buttons and you're unstaked, and you're back into the game. You can do whatever you want with it. So it makes sense to me to just stake it. And the way I look at it is, if people start pulling out of the staking pool, my share of the rewards are going to go up. So I'm even in a better position. So I see it as a no-brainer as well. Jordovic, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very well. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. once again. Just had a comment and a question follow up. So just on what you guys were talking about earlier on the number of holders, I did actually look at this. It's been a while now, but I think our number is a bit optimistic. I think the last I checked, there was only really like 15,000 or so that had more than like a few dollars. Like it's close to 140 that it was one day, unfortunately. But I know, I think Sam has said if we could get it one day up to like 1 million, that'd be like a great ecosystem for us. But it did, to your point, it did drop off quite substantially, just like every other coin. And that's the problem with BSC scan, EScan, right? I mean, all those dust accounts, they kind of overstate the number of holders.
Yeah, it would
For
be
every
nice if we can
for every
filter it.
token. Yeah, for every token.
Yeah, I mean, then I see this as an even better opportunity because if you're saying that 90% of the market's sold and there's just dust there for the most part,
Pretty
then
much. Yeah.
anything you're accumulating right now, the potential to go back up again is great. So you're gonna really benefit from it. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. And then on EverGrow Love, what you were saying, you kind of lost me a little bit there on how the rewards would impact in terms of the price. Like, shouldn't your rewards just be based on the volume regardless of what the price is? Or depending, like the reward should be volume based on the size of your bag, right? It shouldn't matter really what the actual price is, but maybe I misunderstood what you're saying there.
Yeah, please go ahead and respond. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so if you hold, let's say, 50 million EGC in your bag, and the volume of that day is 20 million in volume, and you're getting $200 a day, right? Let's just say, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, okay? That's based on the current price of it being 6 zeros and a 4. If you still hold the same bag size of 50 million, and there's still 20 million volume a day, but the price of the coin was 3 zeros and a 4, your passive would actually be higher. You can actually go into that Safe Moon Dave calculator and play with that. Do exactly the same bag size, exactly the same volume. Either change the liquidity, the market cap, because that's what'll happen when the price goes up. Your market cap will change. Change the market cap and see what happens.
Okay, yeah, I could play around with that. I didn't really think it was working that way, but I definitely go back in the calculator and play around with it.
Yeah, that's the nice thing is that you kind of like, okay, you think the rewards are based on how much you hold, the daily volume, right? And also the circulating supply. Those three things, and of course what the contract says you're going to get, right? So in our case, it's, the 4%. So if you manipulate any one of those things, your bag size, the volume, the circulating supply, any one of those things either makes your rewards go up or down, right? So if our price is, let's say, EverGrow Love example, you said it was 4 zeros, all-time high. Let's just say all-time high was 5 zeros, 3 3, I think it was, or 3 4, something like that. Now to get that same dollar value of volume, you literally don't need to basically have as many people trade that to get to that dollar value. Does that make sense? To get to that dollar value, you need, in a sense, you don't need to have as much tokens change hands, if that makes sense. Because the tokens are technically more expensive, right?
Yeah, but one other thing you got to think of. So if you play with the Safe Moon Dave calculator, you can change the market cap itself. Doesn't necessarily change the reflections itself, but you got to think with every transaction you're reducing the circulating supply. So you can't just change the market cap. You also have to change the circulating supply. And once you start manipulating that circulating supply, you're going to see that with the same volume and the same bag size, your passive is increasing. So every transaction reduces the circulating supply of EGC, and you got to take that into consideration. You can't just change just one thing, because the way that this works, it all works together, and you've got to be able to look at it. If you're not going to increase your bag size and you're going to go off a specific target volume, then you need to look at, okay, what does the circulating supply need to get down to with the market cap? Okay. And that's where the trigger is because not only are you changing the price, but in order for us to go from 6 zeros and a 4 to 3 zeros and a 4, how many tokens do you think we're going to burn to get there? Because it's going to be a crap load, okay? And when we burn that many tokens and you change the amount of circulating supply tokens, look what that does to your passive.
Yeah, I mean, the good news is we're kind of back at the good news about being at this lower market cap again is we can start burning more quicker as utilities launch, right? I mean, when we were up at $1 billion, it was really hard to burn anything. So that's, I guess, if you want to take one positive about being back down here, hopefully we can get a pretty good burn and lower that supply over the next little while before things take off again.
Well,
Exactly.
that's literally the beauty of this whole project. You can be in a bull market, and your price can be going up and your volume can be going up and we're making money. You can be in a bear market and it doesn't matter as long as we're still burning tokens and our volume is still there because now people are selling. You're still in a good position. So the beauty of this is it doesn't matter which way the market's going. It doesn't matter, you know, what our market cap is technically. What matters is how fast are we burning? How much do you hold? And what is the volume up or down? And if you look at it as an overall project and not just as one aspect or another, this is a win-win.
But you have to remember now when they change the taxes, there's not a with the 5%, it's a 5% tax. There's no burn going to it like there was before, right? Like when it was 14%, there used to be a portion going to buyback and burn, and a portion going to liquidity pool, all that stuff, right? So we'll have to see what they do with the updated tax structure, but unless they're doing buyback and burn, I think from revenue utilities, there's no buyback and
The buyback and burn is what
buyback and burn.
is, yeah, the buyback and burn is how the utilities are actually providing benefit to the holders. So all the profit from LunaSky goes to buyback and burn, and that's what pays the passive. All the profit from Atlas Wallet, all the profit from the games, it all goes to buyback and burn. That's one of their justifications for lowering the taxes. I'll be one of the first ones to say I was highly against lowering the taxes because that's one of the main reasons we all got into this. If you look at the original roadmap, but once Paul and Sam and everybody's actually sat down and explained it to me and walked me through why it will benefit to lower the taxes and how we will still achieve those same amounts through buyback and burn based on the profit of the utilities, then it became like, okay, well, now it's perfectly clear. The only concern at this point is future lowering of those taxes. The profit has to be high enough to justify that move, right?
Yeah, I don't know that it's reasonable to expect the profit from utilities, especially like initially, to be more than what will be like the daily trading volume, right? Like, there's no way there's going to be like millions of profits in a day, at least
That's
anytime soon, right? I mean, you're like, we'll be lucky to get a few $1,000s in profit in the first little while. So that
Yeah,
won't have
like
too
as
much of
long
an
as
impact
adoption, right?
on, yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, obviously down the road, you hope that those can start generating millions and if not billions of dollars, but we're still really relying on that, on the volume of trading for our rewards kind of
What you got to
initially.
think too, this leads back to our original conversation of what you're in it for, right? If you're in it for a year, well, then you're probably not looking at the profit from those utilities. You're probably not looking at certain things. If you're in this for the long haul and your goal is that passive, you're willing to wait that 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it takes to get that volume. The volume's there. We just got to capture it, right? So it just depends on your initial investment goal. Me personally, my goal was to buy this and hold it forever. Okay. And just worry about passive, whether it's $20 a day, whether it's $200 a day or $2,000 a day, doesn't matter to me. It's all about passive. So I'm willing to wait, whether it be 30 days for us to do something or whether it be, I mean, we might launch and all of a sudden we're bigger than we thought we were. And we might launch and it takes us a year to get to the volume we need. But the thing is, the plan is there. And the the project has it set out that way for a reason. So when it does hit, I mean, if you're in it for the long haul, I know they call us diamond hands or OGs or whatever. Most of us have been here. We're in it for the long haul, and this is something we've been waiting on. Yeah, we're excited about the utilities. Do we expect to see a huge gain in that first 30 days? No, we expect to see some interest. We expect to see a lot of questions. We expect to see, yes, definitely volume, but not to the extent that we're wanting our volume to be at to basically retire, right? Now, if you're talking 2 or 3 years down the road, yeah, I see retirement.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I'm a day one holder, like I'm an OG like everyone else here, so I totally see what you're saying. So I think I mean I think the goal, even if you have a few thousand profit in a day, is to just see those tiny green candles, right? Just every day have a tiny green candle, which will just trigger the real volume from buying pressure coming in. So I think that's kind of the goal and the plan initially, and then to really get the utilities going and
Yeah, we didn't
generate
even
that.
talk
So
about Lucro or anything like that, right? So the incentive on LunaSky is to use Lucro, right, for the reduced fee. But even if they don't use Lucro and they use Ethereum or they use whatever other Poly or whatever maybe, there's still going to be that 2.5% for the listing fee. So that is going to be used as revenue, right, for buyback and burn of EverGrow. If they choose to lose Lucro, well, they still got the 1% tax of Lucro, and they still make enough on the 2% for LunaSky in order to pay the bills and cover everything, right? So all of these things working together, you have, let's say, like I just put to the space here, Bandroids are having an AMA tomorrow, right? So, you have these projects that onboard with LunaSky, and, hopefully, they get traction, and we just kind of build on all these projects, that partnerships that come on board, and you generate volume and you generate a buzz, and then, then you get that kind of that one utility that is going to bring that volume and rewards for all of us. And then you have, Atlas Wallet, where the marketing plan is to bring on as many projects as possible that are going to be cherry picked by the team in order to, bring them on board, and not only that, but kind of promote them a little bit. And we'll do spaces on those, weekly spaces on these projects that get launched on Atlas. And as long as they're downloading and they're using it to buy and sell, in a sense, it doesn't really matter, because if you're in a bull market, people are buying a lot using Atlas Wallet. And if they're selling a lot, they're using Atlas Wallet, and you're getting the rewards from that, the buyback and burn from Atlas Wallet. So again, all of these things working together, and you might not have one rock star, but you might have several. Or you might even just have one that does really well, and the other ones are, yeah, pretty good, doing good. They're paying the bills. That's what you want. Go ahead and jump in, EverGrow.
Yeah, so I just want to say I'm going to be kind of greedy, like Matt talked about earlier. I personally, when LunaSky launches, yeah, I want Lucro to do well, but I would be perfectly happy if nobody used Lucro right off the bat, because it's got a higher percent tag or higher percent transaction fee on every other coin, and that's just more revenue for us, right? So I'm perfectly fine if right off the bat they want to use everything else, because that's just more money. Okay. On that other aspect you were talking about with LunaSky onboarding like Bandroids, and we got the Atlas wallet with ChainArc and everything. One thing you got to remember is all of these projects that they're bringing in and they're going to highlight. One of the key things that they're working on is, we're not going to charge you, but we're going to expect you to bring your community. That community is volume. And so that marketing tactic right there has the potential of really exploding, because all of a sudden, if you get 4 or 5 big communities, man, you just went through the roof, and now you got all those communities talking about this new Atlas wallet or this new LunaSky, and now all of a sudden more projects went on. Well, okay, but you got to bring your community, right? That's just it is a marketing genius plan to me.
Yeah, and thank you, Habibi. It's true. It's true. Thank you, Habibi. Appreciate it. Yeah, I totally agree. You bring the community with you, and yeah, all it takes is, like I said, one little project to just kind of really take off. We're going to do the marketing for them. We're not going to charge anything for them. We're going to support them, and we're going to respect royalties on this platform, unlike other projects. who only care about their profit, and they don't share that profit. We do. So go ahead, Matt, jump in.
Yeah, what I love about the marketing plan as well is that it doesn't matter if it's a bull market or a bear market, there's always going to be communities. And it's not like where you're putting out banners and things which only really work in the bull market. And this can be a marketing tactic that can be used all the time. And there's always going to be new communities that come in, and it's not just a seasonal thing, which is what I really love about that aspect of it.
That's true. And even if, let's say, a particular project that's onboarded, let's just say it doesn't do that well. They just, for whatever reason, their use case isn't really there. We're still going to support them, but they may not just grow anymore, or maybe they'll fade away. But there's always going to be new projects with new ideas that are going to want to come on board, and they're going to be looking for a community that's going to support them and market for them. And, again, that support. So ideally, we want to, kind of compound our communities and just bring more and more people on board. Go ahead, EverGrow.
Yeah, I was going to say on top of that, with all the Twitter and Discord and everything else, that if you don't think that other projects are going to notice that there's a project out there that is not only onboarding, but supporting and helping and assisting other projects to become successful, man, you really need to take another look, because that one process is what this space needs so badly right now, is a project that will support and try to raise up and try to make another project successful. And that's part of our goal. When they onboard, when they announced Bandroids, how much of the EverGrow community retweeted and has posted about Bandroids and has been all that. We are trying to help support them and make them grow. Same thing with ChainArc. We're going to do it with every project, and we don't have to be board members. We don't have to be team members. It's a community supporting a community. Simple as that.
And I think the model in the past is like, if you wanted to get promoted within the space, open up your pocketbook, because yeah, we'll promote you, but you're gonna have to pay for it. You know what I mean? Oh, you want this kind of exposure? Well, that's going to cost you this much. And that was the accepted norm. That was the norm. With Atlas Wallet, you will not have to pay to get promoted. We are doing it for free. Just bring your community on. Tell them about Atlas Wallet. Get them to download it. That's all we're asking, and we're going to help you. We're going to help you guys get noticed and get promoted. And I mean, it's such a simple business model, but it's genius. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I know Rocket's not here right now, but what he's subtly or not so subtly doing with engaging with all those big NFT partners, I think if that pays off, it's going to be massive for this guy. He does such a great job at it. So shout out to Rocket, even though you're not here.
Yeah, 100%. This is and it's not disingenuous. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
not like he's just doing it because he wants something in return. He's literally engaging because he enjoys it. You know what I mean? So it's not just like, oh, I'm doing this just to get you back over here. To him, it's like, yeah, it's great if you come over. If you want to know about our project, I'll tell you. But let's just have fun. Let's get to know each other. Let's share our interests, and I think that is what brings value to the project. I'm not expecting anything.
Yeah, I think the one thing that would get me the most excited would be having some type of utility for Lucro down the road that was not directly tied to crypto, right? So I know earlier we were talking about like the bull and the bear market, how volume just dries completely off and just kind of planning for the next one, right? But if Lucro was somehow integrated to like the general financial system somehow, could keep that volume going, which then directly benefits EGC as well during that bear market.
So let me pose this to you, right? Let's just say theoretically Lucro is adopted within all these, our utilities and all that stuff, right? And we start to raise our market cap and we start to get attention. Let's say Lucro is a top 100 token, top 50 token, or better. Now you're noticed, right? If you want to get used in like just think of it like social media marketing, right? If you're well known, people are coming to you because they want to use your notoriety in order to gain exposure for themselves, right? Let's just say Lucro has this community, EverGrow has this huge community behind it. I want to tap into this as a company. Well, how would we do that? Well, maybe we'll onboard their Lucro token, right?
Yeah.
You want access to that community. So as we grow as a project, those opportunities are going to start to present themselves, I think. EverGrow Left, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say on top of that, if you think about what they're doing with LunaSky and what we've already talked about, we're already thinking outside of just standard NFTs, and we're already thinking about the utilities as far as, we talked about concerts, we talked about ticketing, we talked about real estate. All of that can be uncoupled from crypto technically. A real estate market can have a huge boom while the crypto's having a bear market. Ticket sales for a sporting event and concerts can be booming when crypto's having a bear market. So we're already looking at things that has the potential of making LunaSky a stable place, a stable utility that can generate constant volume without the need for a crypto bull market.
And consider too, I mean, I know it's a small business, like EverGrow Bus has the EverGrow Man Burgers at 2 locations, right? And he's got Lucro advertising there. So just think of another maybe potentially small businesses out there that are, they may already know about EverGrow and they're just waiting for these utilities to kind of take effect and and have the proof that we're a legitimate operation. And they're like, you know what? I love EverGrow. I want to accept a Lucro at my business. And that's more common than, and it's not that hard to do, honestly. So I think that those kind of opportunities are really going to present themselves in probably pretty unexpected ways. I don't know what it looks like yet, but that's just my prediction. You want to
Steve,
say
I
there was
want
something?
to know if anybody listening to this has already blown a fuse thinking about the future. It's stunning. And I wanted to bring up, I don't know if there's anybody listening or will listen in the future who is not already a holder of EverGrow. But I during this conversation, I went on to BSC Scan, and I see something here that I think is quite interesting. In the top 1,000 holders, the amount needed is 41,157 plus 1,000 EGC, which is only 0.0041% of the total. And the buy-in for that right now is only $1,698.35. That is an incredible opportunity.
If you could recognize it, that's the key. Recognizing the opportunity, right?
Yes, if
And I get it. Money is not money's tight for some people right now. This is a tough time. When crypto is doing well, when stocks are doing well, people have money, they're flowing and all that stuff. And back when we had COVID, people were getting checks for stuff and they had spare money, and maybe they didn't have to go to work. They maybe stayed at home and worked from home, and they didn't have that gas bill anymore to drive to work. They didn't have to put the maintenance of their vehicles, and they had money. Right now, it's a little different for some people, so they don't necessarily have that investment, the cash available. But if you do, or you're able to just set aside even just a little bit, it just will reap rewards, in my opinion. I think it'll just reap rewards for you in the future. And I like to think of these spaces as like a little time capsule. They'll always be here, right? And I put them on YouTube and podcast, Spotify, and all that stuff. So down the road, maybe a year, 2, 3 years down the road, we'll listen to this and reflect back on what it was like to be where we were at that time and not knowing what's going to happen next. We have a pretty good idea, but we can't predict the future in terms of what the volume's going to be, when the bull market's going to come, what's the next innovation that's going to happen in the space that Sam or Paul is coming up with for us. And I think it's pretty exciting. It's exciting times for me.
if I'm around, I think I will be looking back at this time saying, wow, I had no clue, even though I thought I had a clue of where this was going.
Yeah, like I said, pretty exciting times. you don't really know what the future holds, right? And I'm kind of I like to think I'm pretty savvy on people. I can kind of spot, people. I can kind of tell, people are transparent or honest or dishonest, or, they have a motive. When I first got to know, the team and started to kind of put out my feelers at first, I was a little surprised because I was like, am I losing my edge? And no, I haven't lost my edge. I know what transparent and honest and good people are like. It's not they're perfect or anything like that. People make mistakes, of course they do, but their heart is in the right place. And I believe in the team and I believe in the community. And I think those two things right there, we can't go wrong because we're going to support each other, right? And we're going to be there for each other. And we've proven it time and time again. You just don't have to go far to find out. Love, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if I'm around in 3 or 4 years, once this thing's really done, kicking into its thing, only thing I'll say is I guarantee you all that before I go, off grid and start using a satellite or something to try to get internet access, I'll try to post pictures of my house out in the middle of nowhere away from civilization so that you guys can be jealous, and maybe you can find a track next to me or somewhere and we just all move into the same area. It's got to be a minimum of 20 acres though, because I don't want anybody too close. Okay,
if you don't mind at least having a couple of stuff for dinner or something, because when I buy a houseboat, you guys are invited. I'm gonna bring you guys to my houseboat. So I'm gonna have a nice little spot in Tennessee. So that'll be my little home away from home.
that's where I'll be, is in Tennessee. That's where my current job is.
That's awesome. Yeah. I found a beautiful little lake that I want to put my houseboat on, and like I said, I'm gonna put out some invites once I get it, and hope you guys will come over and chill out on the party deck. Yeah.
You're talking about missed opportunities. Um, I used to look at real estate ads, fantasy stuff, and I can remember one, probably 40 years ago now, which was 10,000 acres in Montana with your own resident herds of elk, and I think it was 5 or 6 5-acre lakes, and mountain streams, rolling hills with foothills, and it was $1 million. Imagine what that chunk is worth today.
Absolutely. I mean, that just 10,000 acres, it's even hard to fathom that size of property. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but wouldn't you love to fathom it?
Absolutely. Is that your dream CWP, is to have a huge acreage like that, or is 20 acres good enough for you?
No, my dream is somewhere probably out of the U.S. in a northern climate, in the foothills of mountains with my 20 acres or more all forested.
Sounds like you're talking about maybe Montana or Idaho.
Or maybe Greenland or Iceland.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I thought you said the US.
No, I said probably out of the U.S.,
Gotcha.
not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Gotcha. Sounds
Um,
nice. Yeah.
or British Columbia or farther north in the Yukon would be nice too.
Yeah, I used to live in BC, so I can probably point out some nice little spots that you'd like. So yeah. Habibi actually took some beautiful pictures the other day and posted them. Habibi, could you tell us where that was? Because I can't remember. I was looking at them. I was kind of like, wow. I thought those were honestly like maybe AI art or something like that. I don't know if you can speak.
That worthless pug has been all over the world lately. I am jealous.
Habibi, you still there? There you are.
Yeah. Hey, hello.
Hello. So
I
where were you?
almost.
Where were those pictures from?
Which pictures?
You had posted 4 of them, and just the other
Oh,
day.
oh, yeah. That was. I think that was taken on the Faroe Islands. It's between Iceland and Shetlands on the North Atlantic Ocean. That was my
Absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
that was my place for vacation this year. Faroe Islands and Iceland. So yeah, amazing place. Amazing place. You all should go there and visit this beautiful, you know, peaceful and magic islands.
It looks spectacular. I thought, like I said, I thought it was AI art you were making or something because it looked just too perfect. It looked beautiful. So
Thank you.
thanks for sharing. I really appreciate it. Guys, it's kind of running up on, well, 2 hours, 15 or so. Is there anything you want to talk about before we close out the space? Anything on your mind? I mean, I know we're dreaming here.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for holding the space. I mean, it's amazing that you take the time to do this, and all of us from the community and even outside the community appreciate your efforts on this.
Nah, I appreciate you saying that. It is absolutely a pleasure to be here with you guys. It really is. Because I just love getting together with you guys and just kind of talking about EGC and just life in general. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be about EGC and Lucro and all that stuff and utilities. But I love bringing you guys together and sharing in this space. And I think it's so important that we continue to build the community, right? Even with the utilities coming up with LunaSky and all that stuff, we'll have ways to bring people together. Atlas Wallet will have spaces dedicated for that too. So bringing these communities together and sharing on kind of this common values. It's kind of rare to be able to share spaces like this with so many people and keep kind of, for the most part, keep it pretty tame and keep the politics out of it. We have our opinions on things and it's okay to talk about those things a little bit. But for the most part, we always kind of come to the center of we all have the same dreams, the same goals, the same commonalities among us. And I love sharing in those commonalities with all of you guys. So thank you for being here. Habibi, go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, finishing this, space, I'd like to thank personally a lot of cool guys and creators, and I got a list to personally thank for the beautiful pictures they made for me. These are EGC Orca, CWP, the Crypto Bard, Gracians, Jody Rosie, Fufu Rabbit, the Big Boy Rocket, Jack Oates, Harmony, Captain, Zelda, Trek, Uniquity, and the last one, which is impossible for me to pronounce it. It's French, I think. It's CHASS, and so on. So thank you very much, every one of you, for the yesterday pleasure you gave to me. Thank you.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday, Habibi.
yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday. Were you using a voice simulator there or something like that? Because your voice changed. That's what we were laughing at.
Yeah, just for fun.
Right
Hey,
on.
I wanted to add to that real quick, Steve. Well, one of the things I love the most about this community is that we do have differences. We do have a difference of opinions. We've talked back and forth. I know, like Preble and I have had difference of opinions. I've had a difference of opinion from CWP. But the thing is that we talk about it in a peaceful manner, and we come to a good agreement, and we actually appreciate each other. That means so much to me when you can have a conversation like that without somebody getting super offended or super upset, and we just talk through it. I love it.
Yeah, very well said. I completely agree. And this, like I said, it's quite rare to find spaces like that where you can actually have these kind of conversations and just be straight up with people, but be respectful. That's what we're all about. So thank you for guys for being amazing people. You guys are great. Before I do close out the space, though, if you do me a solid and go ahead to Bandroids, and they got that AMA tomorrow. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love it if you could go ahead and put on a bookmark for that to join. And yeah, I think it's at 1 o'clock my time. So if you can support them, I'd really appreciate it. And I'll be there. So you guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. EverGrow Love, thank you so much for being here as always. CWP, Habibi, thank you. Hersan, Matt, I really, really appreciate you jumping in, and it was a pleasure to meet you. Go ahead and DM me your addresses and stuff like that, and I'll take care of those t-shirts for you. Any final words? CWP, EverGrow Love, Matt, Habibi, Hersan?
Maybe a little bit of humor. Michael Garber is on here, our resident psychotherapist, And our conversation to people that are outside of crypto, we must sound totally nuts. And I hope we don't sound totally nuts to him, but I'm curious.
That would be, I'd love to hear his feedback on us to, it must be interesting for him to sit back and just listen to us and, what he thinks of us, you know what I mean? We love you, Michael, and I can't wait for LunaSky to launch. You get some more art up there. I'm looking forward to it.
Look,
Absolutely.
just as last comment, I can already tell that he's sitting there thinking, "Oh, there goes that redneck again," and there's that old guy CWP, and damn, that EverGrow Steve's got a sexy, sexy voice, and Gerson, man, his where whatever country he's from, I want to hear more of it. Habibi, it's like, okay, you can do the voice simulator, everything. You're a total whole new ball game of nuts, man. So yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love you guys so much. You guys are great. I hope you get some chance to enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow at Bandroid's AMA. So you guys take care. Have a great day. And I'll see you next weekend. It's only 7 days. Only 7 days. Take care, guys.
Thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Bye for now, guys.